on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets.
On the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Discussing that heat in the street, hey, we got just what you need on Vitamin J. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin J.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what
All
you need.
alone.
Vitamin J. Ay. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin J. Vitamin J, got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, got what you need. Vitamin J, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin J. Tryna run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's about smoke, then we talk all of that. From an ounce to a pound. Take it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right up the seat. How could they be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see they start crumbling now. Mad struck, start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for clout. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock blitz, know they look how I freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the game, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Link up with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them bills on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. To reload the clip and record the clip is go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tune into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
There we go. There we go. There we go. Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Vitamin G Podcast. I am your host Pharaoh, and with me today so far I have um Kofi and Omar. Let me zoom out. Oh, oh, all right, that's right. All right, and I, Jack, I'm all Jack. Excuse me. There we go. All right. So today I have with me Kofi and Omar. And yeah, so let's rock out. Let's have a good show. Sorry for the wacky intro that we had right there. OBS was giving me issues at the launch. But yeah, Kofi, man, how you been? What you been playing?
Of course, I've been spending a lot of time on Visions of Mana. That's been quite fun. And I mean, it's been quite a few things. I'm still in the very last chapters of Stellar Blade, which I'm also having a absolutely wonderful time with. I haven't had a chance to touch on that DLC, so I'm kind of back to enjoy the DLC of that game. And shoot, there's one other game. Oh, I'm finally getting into this Monster Hunter beta. That's what I really wanted to talk about. I've basically gone blind for that game because I just thought I'd buy it day one, but I saw that this beta's data will carry over to the full game. So that gave me enough motivation to do my character creator. And that's been really, really fun. I'll be dead honest, because the last game I played was Monster Hunter World and Iceborne. Some of the mechanics, it's taking me a little while to get readjusted. Now, I'm a main hammer, so as long as I stick with the weapons I know well, like dual and hammer, I'll be very comfortable. But some of the buttons have changed a little bit, like with the great sword or the katana. So just getting adjusted to that. Love the how the world map now is not disconnected. It was always kind of disjointed through a room type system, like you would go out of area 1 into area 2, but to now see it's kind of all this like continuous open world between the town and where you hunt. That is awesome. So I'm really hyped because I know everybody here is going to be hunting. And yeah, sorry, I know it was long winded, but yeah, gaming's been good. Been having a good time.
Yeah. Omar, you were the first one. So, how you been? You been playing?
Sup everyone? Yeah, I wish Juve was here because he would be loving the game that I'm playing. So I finished High on Life
Okay.
and also High on Knife, which is basically DLC for High on Life. And so I never watched a single episode of Rick and Morty. The humor felt almost like South Park-esque. Poop joke, sex joke, swearing, the whole galore, which it's entertaining at times. Sometimes felt not needed, and others random. Hey, speaking of the devil, Jubei, can you guess which game I just beat?
Which one?
High on Life?
Oh, nice. How'd you like it?
Yeah, so the humor is like, what you call it, South Park.
Mm-hmm.
Story is actually fun. Up until the end
Yeah.
where it gets really not per se depressing, but like serious for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Also, especially with the secret ending, I need a part 2. Like,
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
now we are not gonna end it like that. I knew that dude is not who Teddy is. Like, you could see it from miles away. But
Yep.
with that ending, the way they ended it, I'm like, part 2. Also, the DLC, I enjoyed it. It's just too short, way too short, and no upgrade for my new gun. I do like the ping pong machine concept though. Truly enjoying it.
Yeah.
I also it's confusing what happened to the sister. Cause in the DLC she's just gone. Also, your weapon is gone too. I'm not sure it's because of the ending, cause I did a different thing in the ending. I will talk to you off air, so I don't spoil it for the
Yeah.
people. But now, it's on PlayStation Plus. I'm pretty sure it's in Game Pass. Go play
Right.
it. Like, it's entertaining
Yeah.
as heck. It's
I
it's funny.
I
It's
I
humor.
I,
Yeah,
I have quite a few hours in it. I just haven't finished it.
you haven't finished it.
No.
Damn, you're missing out, also including the DLC. I assumed you already beat it and the DLC because you love it. I know you've talked about it a lot.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's just I have other things to play.
Mm. And
It's
the
difficult.
other game, which I'm curious if you played it or not, is actually the Gunk.
Oh yeah, I finished that. 100% of that.
I'm not gonna lie. a slow start with so much gunk to clean up, and it
Yep.
gets tiresome after a while. Like, I understand that they have a mechanic, they want to showcase it to the world, but switch it up a bit. I'm now at the tower. I cleaned the gunk from the tower, the last
Mhm.
tower, and it burnt me out. If I'm honest, I'm hoping it gets better because the story is interesting, but the gameplay not only is it bare boned, it dare I say even boring. Um, I'm not gonna drop it because it's not the gameplay is not bad. It's just boring. I I
I can
literally
see
took a
where you got that from.
I literally took a break from Eternal Strand that I had so much high hope for because it became boring to now literally being playing another boring game. At least I have fun with High on Life. Oh,
Hmm.
and shout out to Helldivers 2. It's been a blast. They introduced a new bond, which lucky I had a friend that helped me gather 1K super credit to be able to buy it day one. But yeah, other than that, that's about it for me.
Hell yeah. No, not the. I mean, gameplay wise, you're maybe gonna get a handful of other powers. You feel me? But it doesn't really change much past. Yeah, suck. Clean this shit up and then go about your day.
I see it have upgrade. I'm not sure I'm gonna 100% it because if you miss some stuff like upgrade equipment, upgrade materials, you're out of luck unless you're gonna go
No, you're
all the
not.
way back and repeat
Yeah,
it.
you got.
I
I mean, no, you can fast travel around and stuff. Like you don't.
Yeah,
There's
the biggest issue
no
with this
hard
game,
miss.
the biggest issue, no map. It's
Yep.
two things. It's two things. No map, and you can't keep running. Like, what the fuck are you stopping my run all of a sudden? Like, that was atrocious. But yeah, no, go ahead. Pero get to go to someone else.
Okay. Zero man, how you been? What you been playing?
What's going on, people? I've been good, man. I have not been playing anything radically different um than what I've been talking about before. So that's Dynasty Warriors. Uh, Kofi sort of inspired me to actually go try the Monster Hunter beta. I too have been going blind into it, but I will at least make my character. I don't think I'm gonna play anything else, but I will at least do the character creation. Um, and just still playing Metaphor and back into Zelda Wisdom of Echoes. Finished 2 temples, just running around collecting some more echoes and just moving through the story, which I thoroughly enjoy. It's a great Zelda game. If you like old Zelda, it's a great Zelda game. Highly recommend it. But that's largely it. Just mostly still a lot of time with Dynasty Wars. It's seeming to be a longer game than I expected it to be.
Yep.
Have you met Lubu yet?
Have you met Lil Boo yet? Zero? Guess out.
He might be AFK.
And last but not least, Kirby, man. How you been? What you playing?
Hey, what's up? What have I played this week? I've been watching anime this week. I haven't really been playing much,
What anime you been
which
watching?
is I just started what the hell is this damn thing called? It's such a convoluted series. Fate Stay Night, Unlimited
Okay.
Blade Works.
Yeah, Fate.
Ooh.
Fate is one of those anime series talk heavily about, but I've never watched.
There's so
It,
much going on.
it's great. It's just
It,
convoluted.
exactly. I'm like, bro, like trying to keep track of all
So
these
many
timelines and
seasons.
like, yeah. They
like
all tie in. They all tie in together, but
yeah,
they're like alternates of each other in some instances too. Like it's crazy.
there is literally 3 or 4 tables, yet some of them are not even tables. Like it makes no sense.
Yep.
Uh I wish it was back with this one. This is literally Kingdom Hearts on steroids when it comes to story.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I picked Shiro up as a character in one of the mobile games I was playing, and like, oh, let me check out the anime he's in. I didn't know it was gonna be like I gotta dive mad deep
Yeah, no,
into all this shit. They
this
just
is your
started it
homework
expecting
for
you
the
to
next
know, yeah, expecting you to know
foreseeable
everything that's going on,
future.
and I'm like, oh God.
So speaking of anime, I have actually been watching Cowboy Bebop,
Okay.
Oh yeah, for
and
the
First
first time
time?
or a rewatch?
yeah, no, it's the first time I have actually got being pushed by my crew to watch it.
Yeah,
It's
watch the
fun.
movie too.
It's fun. It's just I don't see what the hype is about. Maybe it's because when it came out, it would have been legendary or stuff like that. But to me, it feels at time random, and also I'm not a fan of the whole episodic stuff because when it pulls on your heartstring, like it does it well, and then the next episode, all of random as of the what you call it, the sad moment never even happened in the story, and that's what frustrates me.
Well,
With
Eh,
it's
they do
pretty.
sprinkle like filler and shit in there, but like
It's kind of weird it
it's
has
not your
filler,
typical filler.
even though it's only like what 26 episodes. Very short anime.
Yeah,
it's a lot
there's a
to
good
go
3 or 4
through
episodes
them.
of filler.
26, I'm at 21, 22, something like that. And it's tough to go through them because you want to be motivated, but when you know that there is no continuation and storytelling, you're like, oh, I will,
Well,
I will watch it.
from what you've watched so far, what do you think's gonna happen?
Um, so I already got spoiled with the ending. I know Spike die at least from what I know dies at the end, but
Hey,
how, why, who, I don't know anything.
there's
So
no proof. There's no proof of that.
I'm curious what's gonna happen. I am enjoying the what you call it the fight scene is great. Spike is weird. At times he comes over like a fucking hitman. When he went against Vicious, like that shit was no pun intended, vicious as fuck. But then you have
Yeah,
moment when he is fighting against the cowboy, and I'm like, dude, you're supposed to be better than this. You're not the gag character, so why the fuck are you acting all gaggy? It it feels it feels underwhelming as a character when he is not serious. That's all I'm gonna say about
I
that.
mean, and that's the point. It's him not taking things seriously, which is a problem.
I'd have to go back and watch it in a while. Um, but it's
And
definitely a
like,
classic.
I mean,
What I
his
remember.
job was as a hitman. I mean, working for the syndicate. That's his whole thing. Like, killing is not difficult for him.
The issue is his incompetence creates scenarios where it not even need to happen.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, it's hubris. He puts himself in situations that he could have entirely avoided had he just did what he's supposed to do.
also another thing is they are a team, yet they're fighting with each other. And I'm not talking Tiffany fighting. Like nah, they're literally out here trying to steal each other money. Like I'm causing reaction for it to happen. The best
Hmm.
the best episode, if I had to go so far, was which is surprisingly great fight scene, great story, just terrible execution from Spike part is when he fight against that person that got experimented with. The ones that laugh or smile have
Oh
a
yeah.
green field. Like, story is fantastic. And the fight scene is great, but I'm like, Spike, You're supposed to be better than this. I don't know, trained. No, he is trained. Where like came over like a rookie fighting against him. Yeah, I'm gonna go off air later and talk to you guys about it. Sorry, I'm gonna get up now.
All right. And now we have another last but certainly not least, Nappy, late to the party. Usually one of the first ones to the party. How you been, man? What you playing?
I've been doing good. I have been playing a lot of the Monster Hunter Wilds beta.
Okay.
So, me and my friends, there was this new monster that we were trying to hunt, and at first it was kicking our ass, but then we ran into another issue where the default equipment they gave us, we couldn't do enough damage to kill the monster quick enough before the timer ran out. So we just kept on fighting, and then the timer just ran out, and we kept on going again and again and again. Well, at least we learned that this dragon is weak against lightning damage. But I did Insect Glaive, which they nerfed. I'm not gonna say they nerfed the Insect Glaive because it has a lot of cool new moves to it, but the Insect Glaive is more grounded. So if you think you're going to be flying all over the air with the Insect Glaive and just be doing those attacks and then bouncing off of monsters, think again. It's not happening. Also, I did do the switch. What's it? Charge Blade, which actually the Charge Blade is actually really fun. You actually get these cool encounters where you can literally have these like power tug of war things, or not tug of war, but power man, where you basically have your shield up and then basically you block an enemy's attack and then you constantly stabbing the monster as you have your shield up, which was cool. And the bow is a little bit more fun. I'll say the bow's fun. And next week I'm going to use the longsword because next week is the final weekend for the beta. So we're gonna try to jump at it again, but this time we're gonna need like 4 people because it was just 2 of us to kill this one dragon and we couldn't kill it, even though
Need
the
a hammer?
experience. Oh yeah, we're definitely probably gonna need a hammer, like because I was like the charge blade and I was like sitting there just blocking all of his attacks, and then my other friend he decided to get a heavy gun and it was doing a lot of damage, but the problem was he was building up so much aggro. That monster was mad as hell, and I kept on trying to keep his attention, but he kept on unloading all this ammunition. That's how we've honestly figured out that this new like dragon monster type is weak against lightning, because he used lightning ammo and he was just seeing nothing but like these red crit damages, and I was like, huh, that's good, interesting. So other than that, I was going to finish controller reviews, but then I updated in a video broadcast thing, and it like messed up my PC to the point where I had to reinstall Windows. So that was fun. I didn't lose much, but I did lose something that was dear to me. I lost my Yuzu emulator.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's gone. So I was like, damn, they don't even have Yuzu anymore. But I'm pretty sure I could find a way to get it back. I know. But as far as like my video content creation stuff, all that stuff's still there. So that's like the most important thing. I had to reinstall OBS, Discord, Steam. Well, Steam was easy because once I added all my hard drives, Steam recognized all my games, thank God. But yeah, it's kind of like I had to start a fresh slate. This is the first time I had to reinstall Windows within like 5 years of my PC. So, but it's not the worst thing in the world. I mean, I did lost my emulator, but you know, I can always re-download the Switch emulator. Or well, anyway, I will decide to get a Switch 2 anyway. So
He misspoke.
Nah.
He's not a whatever he called emulator. Something that's non-end brand.
non-end brand. Yeah, it's just I got something else.
Okay.
So, but other than that, everything's good. Like I said, I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter Wilds. I'm prepping, trying to get used to all these new weapons. Little disappointed that the Insect Glaive is a little bit more grounded, but the Insect Glaive does have a lot more cooler moves now for being a grounded weapon now. It's not as air combative as the old Insect Glaives.
Okay.
Yep,
I got a question for you. Nappy. I haven't tried every weapon so far, but I did play a little bit of the beta. Does every weapon have this type of attack where you use? Actually, I guess I don't know if you're playing with the controller, but you have like a focused attack on weak spots.
Yes, every weapon has a weak point thing. So basically, like I noticed that this is reason why I think ranged weapons are going to have an upper advantage because because the way what happened is that once you get that weak point damage and you have a ranged weapon, it is 10 times easier to hit those weak point damages compared to like somebody that's like with a regular weapon where they have to position themselves in the right spot.
Yes.
But yes, they do.
I like the weak spot because it keeps it a little bit more interesting. But I guess one thing that I found frustrating was my best attacks are saved for when I'm hitting the weak spot. Unless I misunderstood how the animations work. Like there's a specific hammer strike that like I used all the time in World, but I see now it's only when I'm focused on the weak spots can I do that move. So I just found that a little jarring.
Yeah, because with the Charge Blade and Insect Glaive, I had a similar thing where the Insect Glaive has this really special move where once if it hits a weak point damage, it would do like a backflip, but then it would just like pull off the insect, and the insect would do like all this crazy damage. Like it releases like something, but and same thing with the Charge Blade. Charge Blade has a special animation for its when it does weak point damage.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, the Charge Blade also has some more animations. Like, say for instance, when you're like blocking at enemies, it's kind of like a parry, but it's not. But like certain attacks, if you actually time it right, you can block an enemy's attack, and it will cause an animation where you're holding off the enemy. You could just constantly stab at it. So it's new. Like what Monster Hunter Wilds is definitely new, and also if you have a 10 series graphics card, good luck running it. So I was able to run it at my 1060 with frame generation at 720p, barely getting 30 FPS a second.
Wow.
So I don't know. They said they were going to fix the game. Like the game's supposed to. It's not like these two betas for these 2 weekends are not supposed to be like a not supposed to be this like any of the improvements and updates that they made to the game are not going to reflect on these 2 demos. So we'll have to wait till the full release. So maybe, who knows, maybe my 1060 will be able to run it at a decent frame rate without it looking so muddy. But until then, I'm going to go for the 5070 Ti right now. They're sold out everywhere. Yeah, let's just say Nvidia didn't supply enough GPUs for everybody. Unless I was going to camp outside a Micro Center for 3 days, I wasn't going to get one. No, seriously, people like at the Parkville, Maryland one, people were literally camping.
Oh shoot! I was going to say what I know we live near each other. We don't have to say all those details, but the one near me is the only one I know of. So I was thinking you'd be on my side of town.
Rockville and Parkville. Yeah, Rockville and Parkville are 2 in Maryland. So the one I'm closer to is Parkville.
There was one. Oh yeah, Parkville is kind of up for like White Marsh area.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's right. It's between like.
I thought there was one there.
Yeah, it's between White Marsh and Towson. But that's the closer one. I will say the Rockville one though is really nice though when I went there.
Yeah, that's the one I go to.
The Rockville was the first one in the area.
Yeah. Like you said, it's a pretty big space. So
it is. It's actually bigger. I like the layout better than the Parkville one.
I haven't been to the Parkville one.
Equally, Best Buy will have a couple kind of.
Nobody camping out in front of Best Buy.
No one. That's the whole point. No one's camping out there. You just keep your eye on their website because they'll still have some.
You know what's the kind of surprises me, Nappy, that you're not like picky like me. Like when I got my 1080, the only I wanted a build. I don't know if I've ever shown my PC build. All of my important components are white, so it's kind of like it looks like it's a unique build with all the colors and RGB stuff. But the GPU I wanted only is made in Europe, so I had to have that mailed to me. I'm surprised you're not like the way you're really into PC.
I can't be picky right now.
Shipped to you?
I mean, well, good luck at finding one in stock, and also
really?
it's like that. like the 50 series is mainly the biggest thing about the 50 series GPUs is literally that GDDR7, which is that new VRAM that's significantly better than GDDR6. So, like with me already being on GDDR6 with my 2070 Super and GDDR5 on my gaming laptop, that is a 1060. Like, it doesn't make sense for me to go for the third or fourth generation when I could just go for the fifth generation and get the new latest and greatest VRAM, because that's honestly the only thing that's really a truly upgrade compared to the other GPUs.
Roger that.
Well, made it through intro. Only
Yeah.
40 minutes, but considering we got 6 panel members, not too bad, not too bad. We can stroll into what is on your mind. So our topics today, we're gonna talk about the outage, we're gonna talk about Dragon Age, and we're gonna talk about Sony and Kodakawa and kind of how that looks like, towards the future of what PlayStation is doing. But outside of those three things, is there anything gaming related you guys like?
I will say, anyone gonna go first before me? Okay.
Anybody?
So have you guys seen the rumor that the Wonder Woman game is rebooted?
See something about that.
I've
That is
heard the
No, I
game.
have not.
I've heard the game is in trouble. I don't know if it's been
yeah.
100% rebooted. It's just
Okay.
like an
So the
extremely
rumor
long
is
development. Like it's already
the
been 3 years in development and it's not
yeah
anywhere close.
the rumor is the implementation of the Nemesis system didn't work in there, so they had to go all the way to the drawing board.
And that happens sometimes. I mean, the unfortunate thing with that is like they really have like almost no hope of making a profit on that game at this point if they're going to be developing it for a decade. That's basically what it's like. So,
Hey, this is not just one game. This is just one of the 3 games that I believe are gonna get cancelled. You have this, you have Pragmata. We have not had anything from Pragmata for a long time now. The last time they just showed a few clips of the game and called it a day. And then, I don't know if you guys remember a game called Little Devil Inside.
yeah.
Waiting for that game
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah. That's another game I don't see it being coming out, because that's another game that got rebooted multiple times and then got crowdfunded, if I'm correct. And until now, we haven't had anything from it. So it's interesting to see what's gonna happen with all these games.
Yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
it's tough because I just don't. Right now, I don't think the gaming industry is in a very good place. I think a lot of the current base of gamers have started to play a lot more free to play games, and I think mobile gaming is also starting to eat into the type of games that people play. Um, and there's just not enough new gamers coming into space. Not getting enough brand new. So I
The
think
crazy part.
but,
Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done.
no, I just think that because of that, like a lot of these single player experience are starting to struggle, and it's really hard to sell a lot of copies of uh their- um and yeah, it's getting hard. Like you got us. That's the old guard of like grew up playing single games, still buy them. But
Yeah,
even like
we are dinosaurs.
yeah, but the new
I
crop
mean, I want to call us dinosaurs.
the new crop of players don't have the same passion for story driven uh titles. But kind of hurts their experience. and even games that aren't story driven but are single player, like my kids have a hard time playing by themselves because they're so used to Roblox, whatever else. Like somebody has to play with me. So I think that kind of like hurts too. Like I'm seeing like my kids, they don't necessarily like to play by themselves. Like me growing up, like if company was over, that was a bonus. But I mean, I was playing this game by myself. Like this game was getting played no matter who was around. And I don't think that's the same way with uh kids. They that
Man.
that multiplayer
Yeah.
component. Um,
I mean, you kind of right. Like my oldest, he likes what's it called? What's the game with Among Us?
yeah,
Um, but if I think if I gave him just some free to play game where he could mash a button, not saying that that's Fortnite or anything like that, or like even um other online competitive games, I think that he'd probably be more interested in those things. Um, but I would guess that my family's more of an anomaly because I've kind of just done all sorts of things, but that's not what's hot right now.
yeah.
I guess is what you could say. There's a lot of people in I guess the JRPG community that I run in, like we said before, that play a ton of these free games. You know, the Wuthering Waves, the Genshin Impacts, the ZZZ, Triple Z, Zenless Zone, and I find like if let's say I follow 1,000 people who play a lot of JRPGs, I would say like 20% of them are playing a lot of one of those games. So it's totally different than when we were experiencing some of these franchises for the first time, for sure.
Yeah.
The crazy part about this is, um, gaming have been inclusive, but also way cheaper nowadays compared to previous generation with Game Pass and PlayStation Plus and stuff like
Mm.
that. And yet, people would rather gravitate towards free to play stuff.
Well,
That's
I think it's more so also the convenience is also a big thing that we can't ignore.
yeah.
Like, and also like you gotta think these free to play games are like also meant for not just for new audience but for young audience as well, or for older, I'm sorry, for older audience. Like they're meant for you to pick up, do like one mission or two, then put them back down and you can go on about your day. Most of the games that we play back in the day, those were like in-depth stories where it needed your undivided attention for you to pay attention to the deep story and narrative. And a lot of us are just on the move. We don't have that time to just sit down and really like get into a game like a lot of people used to. A lot of people are on the move, and with younger kids, I mean, they got Roblox. It's easily accessible, and heck, they can get it on their phones and just add a controller to it, and there you go.
Yeah. And
Yeah, story is not always the center point, but I also think that um, I don't know if I would necessarily agree with your statement. I think you said I don't know exactly what you said. Fair. You said something about the gaming industry not being in the same spot as it was, or not
it's
being
not it's,
good. I
it's
can't
not
really.
it's not as in as strong of a place. Whereas a variety of titles are it's people are more so leaning towards free to play. They're not buying as many titles.
From a purchasing standpoint,
Yeah.
not from necessarily variety. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know if I could disagree with.
Yes,
I don't know if I
I'm
could
not saying
disagree
there's a
with
lack
you.
of variety as far as game development. It's just
Yeah,
getting customers to purchase your game is getting harder and harder, and we're not getting
yeah.
new gamers who are coming in and trying new things. At least not in the console space.
Well,
In the console space, we're
well,
not getting we're not growing our console base in the way it's been stagnant for like the past like
I mean, where can you grow
oh,
it at?
you mean like just specifically um, console sales being bigger than the previous gen
yeah, like typically
is
a
not.
generation. We're not talking about a specific console, but per generation, it's been about the same number of consoles sold
Yeah,
per
yeah.
gen like the past 20 years. Like the base hasn't grown, but the taste of the players has changed, and it's led
Right.
to less sales.
But I think some of the silver lining is some of these games that don't focus on multiplayer, that we've seen some breakthrough successes.
Yeah.
Like primarily, like one I love to champion is Baldur's Gate 3. It does have multiplayer, but I don't think a lot of people are like necessarily buying that game because it's multiplayer. I think I'm hoping in my heart that people are buying it because of the strategy combat or the story or
Yeah.
the world exploration. And to see that game sell well, or an Elden Ring, right? Elden Ring does have multiplayer, but
Oh, people
I,
would
I
not be
also hope in
playing.
my heart that I'm also
No,
hoping in my heart people aren't buying Elden Ring to play co-op. Like, I mean, I'm happy about that, but I guess
bro.
I like to believe that people just want to play in a game with really hard enemies
As
running
hard
around.
as that game is, half of that player base would quit if it were not for co-op, a friend being able to help them get through.
Yeah,
Listen,
maybe,
heck,
maybe.
we got an ordinary character. Let me solo her.
Yeah, I
He
mean,
was so
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
FromSoft actually went out of their way and made a statue of him and a legit summon.
Yeah, and I was gonna say people love. There's a community for people who like to just watch people play that game, not necessarily even get help. Just
yeah.
watch
Oh,
people play. So that's cool.
also, don't forget that FromSoft did literally make a multiplayer Elden Ring game after they saw the Elden Ring mod so successful. They
Oh,
just
right. That's
decided,
coming out, right? That's true.
yeah,
That's a good
everyone
point.
forgot about that. Like we're gonna get a full-fledged multiplayer experience where you don't have to summon nobody. You could just hop in the world with your friends and play all together.
Yeah.
Something they should have done
So,
long time ago.
so yeah, I'm gonna stick with the argument that a lot of those games have an option for multiplayer, but it wasn't necessarily designed around multiplayer until this new, expansion comes out. And there's a couple others too. Like I guess you got your God of Wars and you got Horizons and things like that. So
Yeah.
that's cool too. But yeah, you're totally right. Whatever the 100, 200 million, what was it? 220 million was the most
Yeah, I think it's
a
like
generation of consoles ever sold.
I think it's between 220 and 30 the average
Yeah.
sales per generation.
Right. Right.
So looks like that's kind of going down this specific generation because people are holding their old hardware.
Yeah.
Because they're just playing those free to play games that don't necessarily require upgraded hardware to
Yeah.
play it.
Well, I think it would have gone up if Xbox sold like a little bit more than one, the Xbox One, right? If they had
Yeah,
just
but
stayed
both are
consistent, but they shifted their kind of
PlayStation
moniker.
started out fast. PlayStation 5 started out fast, but I think now it's basically kind of four, and I think Xbox also basically kind of Xbox One. I think that's just going to be the trend that we see. I mean, maybe Grand Theft Auto kind of changes that trend for both of them, a little bit.
We will see.
We'll see. Everyone acting like Grand Theft Auto is, the biggest game ever. I'm not saying it's not a big game, but it's a game that went for three console generations. Like it started out on like the PS3, went all the way to the PS5. So
I think if Xbox has some sort of like healthy marketing for whatever's, I see what you're saying. You're saying this gen only. Yeah,
yeah,
I think if
like
you're
as far as like Grand Theft Auto 6, like Grand Theft Auto 5 gets credit for being like this hugely massive successful game that it is. It is that, but it's that partially because it went on for so
G
long. Like
and GTA Online
yeah,
and the role playing servers.
yeah. So I mean, like
You have to give credit where credit's due.
yeah, the game
but I would
evolved.
agree with you.
The
I don't
game the
think
game
it's gonna.
evolved over time, but is Grand Theft Auto 6 gonna have that same amount of time to evolve, just as big as Grand Theft Auto 5 was? I'm not 100% sure.
I would say, um, I still would say, based on what we may or may not know officially about Xbox sales, that would be because of their shift. That would be why we don't sell as many consoles this gen as last gen. The Xbox has
The
shifted
rumor is
where they
of
want to
last
sell.
year 2 million.
2 million.
Right. So, which is,
And
if they think that's fine, then it's fine to me. But I think their shift would be the only reason why we don't hit that moniker. I think if they were like, "Hey, you need to buy an Xbox just like last gen," it would have been right around that 220, 230.
Oh, because even like nobody like PlayStation or Xbox, even though PlayStation is selling well, like it's still not it still looks like it might not hit the 100 million.
Do we know if it what you said behind the PS4 sales, is that confirmation or is it
I don't
something?
think it's confirmation.
I could have swore like the latest thing is that it's a little bit like on par or behind. Like at first it was like well ahead of PS. But
Last thing I said, I saw it ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Last thing I saw was ahead
I
too.
could have
Yeah.
swore I heard most recently that it's pretty much like a dead heat starting to trend. Like it's like consoles aren't right now in general.
I mean, this is a tough market to be trying to sell consoles.
We're gonna know for sure on Thursday. That's when Sony's earning report comes out. Get like we'll get a clear picture from them. If it, I guess we'll talk about it on Monday. I think it will be worthy because I think we'll finally get Concord number. I guess. Nice.
I mean,
Okay, yeah.
This man's still talking about Concord.
I mean, it's the biggest flop of modern gaming.
That's like 6 days.
12.
12. I'm sorry.
Yeah, give that game some respect. And they had a show, so give it 13 days.
Crazy considering the Avengers
Yeah.
game is part of this generation.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's up. Well, I think. Well, the Avengers game had a lot more light.
No, I mean, I don't disagree with you. That's like, it's crazy that
Yeah.
realistically, all Concord had to do was survive, and it would still probably do better than the Avengers game.
Tough. Because people played the
Yeah.
Avengers game. I think the thing that hurt the Avengers game was they alienated the Xbox and PC base with the whole Spider-Man thing, and it was how they said it. I think it rubbed people the wrong way going into the launch of the game.
nah, the whole
I'm not-
Avengers was literally eviscerated
All the characters
second
felt
they
the same.
revealed it
Yeah,
with
but
the character.
then you got the game, and then got
And the game
Hulk
wasn't
didn't feel
even
like
received
Hulk.
well.
I thought the story was actually decent, but the combat, the characters didn't
Yeah.
feel like superheroes.
The stories they were raving about it, which make it even worse because if this was a single player game, then it would have been great. But instead, this is what we got.
I would hope it would have been great if it were strictly a single player game, but the you have superheroes like Iron Man, a Hulk, or scaling the character to where the game is fun and somewhat challenging while the character also feels adequately powered is a very unique challenge that a developer faces when they're making like a superhero game for a superhero that is like very much overpowered. Like that's the one thing.
I actually disagree with this notion, and for one simple
That's why there
reason.
hasn't been a good Superman game. There's never been a good Superman
Dude.
game because it's hard.
Dude, why is there a Spider-Man game?
Spider-Man's not OP.
He is super OP. What you talking
He's
about?
not. No, he is
Okay,
He
not.
gets his ass
So
kicked
I
a
can
lot.
I can actually defend Pharaoh on this one.
Dude,
No.
this dude with one punch can obliterate a human being.
Yeah, but he's not OP
That's-
You
compared to
can't
the
tell-
villains
no,
that he's facing.
You can't tell me that's not true. I
So-
don't read comic, but from what I've seen, just from the video game alone, and I'm pretty sure the comic upscales the video game. So there's beyond. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, I actually 100% agree with Pharaoh, but I wanted to give an explanation, at least from my perspective, of why Superman games have always sucked, and I don't know when a good Superman
It's not
game will be out. From my perspective, when we imagine Superman, his capabilities are so great that often modern gaming structure has not really caught up with it. Maybe something like a No Man's Sky would be the closest we've seen to something Superman should be able to do from a traveling perspective. But for example, Omar, if you're playing as Superman and you're just stuck in one city, it just feels too limiting because of what we know about the character. For example, like I just can't wrap my mind around how to, I guess, explain it. The more I think about it, but if you had Superman, you almost want to have the ability to travel around one planet, almost. That you could try to keep Superman within like a continent, and maybe you could keep that quantified, but his destructive capabilities are so enormous that even being able to run up buildings and get knocked down, you would hope that it would be a fully destructible environment, that you could at least get up high into the atmosphere, that you could at least travel so fast and use your eye vision. That you could be limited. You could have him maybe on a different planet. Maybe, I don't know, kryptonite is somehow playing a role, but scale is so hard with Superman. Where Spider-Man, or like there was a Hulk game I thought that was very good, where like you could run with Hulk up the buildings. That was like the one Hulk game I thought was like close enough to being really fun. But I just think that any Superman hero game that doesn't give you the scale of like going around a planet would be criticized.
I
Or
mean, it's
Flash.
one of those things.
Yes,
Freedom,
Or
especially
Flash, yeah.
Yeah, I
Or
mean,
Flash.
freedom is the enemy of creativity, right? And for Superman represents like there's nothing he can't do.
Yeah.
And so then you have to write in a way to convolutely like nerf all of his abilities and all
Right.
of his powers, which then doesn't really make you want to play a game as Superman.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
you know,
like I mean, it could
So-
be him like rediscovering his powers. I mean, that's like the best
like
thing.
you can do it. You can absolutely do it. Yeah. I wanted to say that, but continue.
I'm just saying for a character like Superman, to me it doesn't work because
I
like
mean, he got beat by like Doomsday, and
Right,
we
but-
already know he's stronger than Doomsday. But at the current moment, like
But
he
it's
still didn't
every
fully
enemy
realize
in-
his powers.
right, but is every enemy in the game Doomsday level? Like then what bosses are even worthwhile?
I mean, it's just I mean, like I said, I think they can do like a reboot of Superman where basically he's like a kid. But honestly, I think that would just be one game, and that'll be it.
I
you
think
might
what
be able to get it with kids. Man. Might be able to get
I
it.
mean,
I-
Smallville, the
so
game.
I think the best way to do it is Smallville.
Yeah, but
But like, I just don't think anybody wants to play Smallville. They
I
want
mean,
to play
but-
Superman.
Yeah.
that's why
Like,
we wanna
that's why,
fly.
like Spider-Man
Okay, but
and
this is-
X-Men. That's why they make
So
for good
why-
games, because those characters aren't open.
Yeah, I mean,
But
DC's got a host of characters they can use. Superman does not have to be the end all be all.
Okay, but let me ask you this then: why would so get it? When you play as Spider-Man, I think you play as Peter Parker. That's not new.
Well,
He's been Spider-Man for what, like 10 years.
he's like
So clearly he have ability. Yet he found new abilities and new stuff to learn. Like you can make it, yeah.
It's not the. It's not.
Wait, Spider-Man got new gear, not new
Yeah, because
abilities.
Spider-Man makes things, so like he didn't develop new abilities.
No,
he just
he
made new stuff.
he literally created the electricity web where he shooted a web that
Right, but that's not-
solved
that's not an-
puzzle.
That's not an ability. That's a tool. Like Superman has nothing
Yeah,
but
okay.
abilities. He doesn't have tools.
I get it, but instead of a tool, give him abilities like where you can. So here's the thing. My question becomes: do you want to play a video game, or do you want to play a Superman video game? That's what comes down to. Because at some point you gotta put your disbelief aside to play video. Like for example, Kratos in God of War. He's a god. He should he should be able to rip through people like butter.
yeah, but we don't
Enemies
have a
like
reference. We like
I'm not saying, and besides,
Right.
he
we don't
was
have
a
a
god.
reference.
You don't have a
other
reference. He's right.
gods.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
like
don't-
also he does rip through people. Like
He does rip through people,
every
but he's
god
also
that he's come across, including like quote unquote
Yeah.
immortal gods like Balder.
Yeah,
To give
and
you an
then he
example,
went to
Omar,
a
if we had
completely.
like a
I'm sorry,
God of
go
War
on.
movie where Kratos is just like flying around, like ripping people's heads off super easy, like just traveling to different planets, just hitting people, and then he
when
just
you're
walked
fighting-
around in corridors.
Yeah,
in the
like
game,
when
you'd
you're
be like,
fighting
This
enemies
isn't
like
the Kratos I know.
yeah, this is what to me it feels like people just wanna not to say complain, but They want to put their disbelief when they won't, but when their fanboyism is too strong, they want to put that disbelief aside and believe that a character should be like this or should be like that. That
The
I
general
think
my
staying
rule,
take.
true to the character. Like
yeah,
it's why the Batman games are so good.
yeah,
Because they don't present you with this awesome freedom. They present you with very specifically what is it like to hunt criminals. That's what Batman does.
yeah. Like
Yeah.
Like in the same
Okay,
way that
but
like
for
the key
Superman,
the
for
best parts of
Superman to
Spider-Man
work, yeah, go ahead.
is the web swinging. Like because you gotta nail down Peter's web swinging because he flies through the city like that, and it's awesome.
Okay, for Superman to work, you can't just have one planet. You need to have multiple. Then
Oh
that's a hell.
God.
Then that gets into what Kofi
That's
was saying.
so
Like
hard.
now we're making a No Man's Sky est
yeah, that's a
game.
but
crazy.
That's massive.
That's a crazy
That's
budget. Yeah, that's a
Oh,
that's a
and,
Yeah,
crazy
that's
budget.
tough.
That's
and you know they're gonna put like the extra cool
look.
RTX graphics on top of that.
The
let
real-
And
me
the,
so then
you don't want it like Mass Effect, right? Where you're choosing a map on the planets you're going between. You literally want like interesting cities on an entire planet with interesting people that you could go and fly to at any point, right?
I-
Like No Man's
we
Sky with actual AI all over the planets.
we actually have an example of not per se of Superman, but of another superhero not working and got cancelled, which is a Flash game. I'm
yeah,
curious why.
Oof, that's a brutal one too.
because Flash's abilities are too OP too.
Yeah.
Like his speed is.
So he got
So what
literally
do
got
you
the
do?
Flash
If
Force.
you
He
had a
can
Flash
literally
game,
travel
Again,
back
all
in
he could
Can
do
you
is
time.
run
imagine
up and
playing
down
a
a
Flash
corridor.
game
Oh,
and you're getting shot
yeah,
and you can't dodge the bullets? Like,
oh.
like,
Or like you can only
Quicksilver.
run up and down a small room. That would be awful.
yeah,
It would be awful.
all right. So
but again, I played at Kratos where I know for a fact I'm faster than a human being. Just yet there are enemies that were able to hit me with
it's
with magic. Like to me, it feels like I put my disbelief. If I wanted to nitpick that God of War game, I would literally think that me as Kratos, I should be be able to be faster than them beyond belief.
yeah.
Like
I don't disagree, but the thing is, like I said, God of War does not have a reference in media. Like we don't have a God of War show that we can go to. We don't have God of War comics that are mass
we
produced
have
that
a
we can
kind
run
of
to. We have the
we
God
do
of War.
we do the game where he literally
Yeah,
be
that's all we have is the game. So the
ragdolling
game is
and
what shapes our perception, and that's what shapes our standard of what Kratos should be. Whereas with the other
The,
with the other superheroes, the comics and the cartoons and the movies, they shape our standard of what the character should be, not the video game.
yeah.
So when the video game doesn't meet that standard, we think the game is trash. And that's why typically the rule of thumb is the weaker the superhero, the better they make for a video game.
And like so like another argument I would say, Omar, is when Kratos basically lost his powers and went to the, switched to the different gods universe, that to me that was very compelling. But if I'm playing 50% of a Superman game with a limited Superman, that game's going to be a 6 out of 10. I'm just telling you right now, it's going to come out and be like half the game is you walking around and you can't fly higher than a building. People are going to be pissed. I mean, I just don't think it's a good.
okay. So let me ask you this then. And again, I'm not trying to be argumentative here. I'm trying to understand because I'm not a comic person, and
Yeah.
I'm genuinely curious how you guys perceive this. What do you guys expect from the Wolverine game?
Wolverine's not OP. Wolverine gets
Yeah, he's
so
not
much.
opaque.
Wolverine spends so much time getting bitched that like he has cool moments,
Ooh.
but he spends a
He
lot of
literally
time.
his body literally got obliterated where it was nothing but his skeleton.
Yeah,
and it regenerated slowly.
yeah.
It didn't regenerate right away. It was slowly.
But he can still go through enemies through like butter.
Yeah, but the thing is, he can go through enemies like butter, and what makes Wolverine appealing is his savagery. But it's not that he's this overpowered character. He's just very savage and violent. But he easily gets fucked up. Like Like in
Yeah,
the comic books, the things Magneto would do to this man is
Yeah.
beyond criminal. Like
yeah. I mean, that's what you get for having that
And
antimadium skeleton.
yeah.
and let's say like Superman was fighting a bunch of kryptonite enemies. Obviously he
Yeah,
would
I'm
like.
literally about to think the same
But
thing.
I,
But
I
not
just don't
only
think that's
that,
gonna be fun. I just don't think Superman goes like, "Let's fight," and then it's like, "Oh, they're kryptonite." And Superman goes, "Oh, okay. For this fight, I can't fly," and that would be like the crutch for the entire game. I just don't think they would be well received. I think people would be like, "This whole game is using low budget and the design of this particular character flaw to make it so that I can't fly
You're
for
basically
like
taking
the
his
whole game."
you're basically taking his powers away.
I think that's
I mean,
it right there. Like, it's not that like Wolverine, you aren't taking away any of his powers. You might give him new move sets, but you aren't taking anything away from him in order to make this game. The same with Spider-Man. You aren't taking anything away from Spider-Man. As far as we can tell, in order to even make Superman to start be interesting, you have to take away something first. But I don't want to take away with anything. It would be like if, oh, Peter can't climb walls for the first 30% of the game. That's an absurd thing to do. Like, until then he earns it later. No,
I
if I'm
think
Spider-Man, I want to climb walls and I want a web swing. Everything else is like ancillary. So if I'm Superman, because he has so many abilities, I want to shoot lasers, I want to fly, I want to be super fast, I want ice breath, I want X-ray vision.
Right. Can't be shot.
Yeah, and so if you take these away from the very beginning of the game and then have me earn them, it just feels weird because it doesn't feel like
okay,
it
these
fits.
power, these 5. So how about this? He can do all of this, but he is limited because of kryptonite, like some
Yeah, the
kryptonite
thing is,
fuckery. He
kryptonite
can
takes away
fly.
everything from kryptonite strips him of everything. So, if it's green kryptonite, like he's like on the verge of dying. If it's red kryptonite, he doesn't have power. Like
Yeah.
there's no in between.
So basically, the character is just too OP.
Yeah,
Or
that's what I'm saying.
or
Yeah, that's the
or,
whole thing about Superman is like his power is limitless.
or make it real simple, right? Like if you want to make a quote unquote Superman, like he has a whole son who goes by Superman who isn't as strong as him. There's a variety of other Superman beings like Superboy, or Steel, or the Armored Superman. Like it doesn't particularly have to be Clark Kent.
So
If you're desperate on making a Superman game, personally, I say leave him alone completely. DC does not have a shortage of heroes. If you want to make a spacefaring adventure, Green Lantern is right here.
If I say Green Lantern probably makes them outside of Batman, Green Lantern probably makes them sense because you can scale him however you want as
You
far
want him
as
to be, yeah.
environment. Yeah, but
Hmm.
like Wonder Woman, she's basically mini Superman. Like she's not as
Mhm.
strong, but the powers are very similar.
he is OP. I know what's his name. Poseidon is also OP.
You're
Poseidon?
talking about Aquaman.
Aquaman.
Oh,
Yeah,
Aquaman.
Aquaman,
Okay.
my bad. Aquaman.
Aquaman's kind of OP, and I think it's not really that he's OP. His issue is that you got to deal with the water element of it, and like doing water and land, and doing it on large scale maps would probably be like a challenge. I don't want to
That's
deal with.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just saying that's probably a challenge people don't want to necessarily like tackle.
I mean, water's hard in and of itself.
So
Yeah.
then my question becomes: do you think Wonder Woman game was doomed from the start? Because she is also overpowered.
I don't think Wonder Woman game is start because even though she is like the human version of Superman, just not as strong, and she is weak against like gunshots and things. Like she can be hurt, basically in ways that Superman can't hurt. She can still get like rough. So
I mean, I would also add, like, if you very firmly do give her the God of War treatment, then it becomes really easy, right? Like, she is a mythical Greek goddess. If you pop her into a mythical Greek world, like, we don't have a reference for how strong a Medusa is.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so if a Medusa slapping around Wonder Woman, maybe because they're really strong. They like that.
Yeah.
Like, or Minotaur or any other things. Like, we have no reference for how strong these creatures are or aren't supposed to be, which then doesn't give us the sense of disbelief. It's like, okay, monsters are strong, right? Like,
So
I always thought
if
she
you
was been very easy.
if you create an enemy that rivals Superman in strength, would that be believable or no?
I mean, he does
Maybe.
he does
Yeah.
have them, but the issue is that you can't fight them all the time. You can't fight Doomsday and Darkseid and Bizarro Superman all the time. That's like 3 boss fights. Then between those like 3 boss fights, everyone else got to be able to one hit them, which doesn't make for an interesting game. I mean, he does have rivals that rival him in strength, like Zod and um,
When I
Darkseid.
when I compare Superman to DBZ, it's interesting to see how Akira Toriyama was able to make Goku not the strongest by default, but just introducing enemies that scaled above him and he had to conquer them. But with Superman, seemed like he is OP from the get-go.
Yeah, because well,
The history is longer, unfortunately. I think like Superman has over 80 years of history.
Yeah, the difference between
And some scattered stories.
Yeah, and Goku goes looking for these people. Spider
Yeah, Goku.
Superman's not looking for nobody. He's posted up on Earth. He's here to defend. And it kind of gets awkward if like all the aliens from all across the planet, all across the universe come and look. Like, it just doesn't make as as
Yeah.
well of a written story as like Goku was like always searching out the next talent.
I do think it's a compelling argument to say, oh, like Goku did it. Because I guess when Goku's at his best, he reminds you so much of Superman. Obviously,
Yeah, because he is also
I think it's a
limitless.
compelling argument you're making, though.
Yeah, but I feel like the difference between Goku and Superman is that Superman is, whereas Goku always is
Becomes.
evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Goku is always evolving into what he needs to be in order to beat the next challenge. Superman just is. Whatever that challenge is, I'm already good enough.
Also, he have his.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Superman's never had to train or prepare or do any sort of
other.
He never
Yeah.
like he like
It's
the
like a
most
one-punch man kind of thing.
the most Superman has done is put on a lead suit that he wouldn't be subject to the effects of kryptonite. That's the most Superman has ever really done.
Also,
Yeah.
he also have his one what you call it where he becomes Superman or something like that, where he becomes super broken. I think when he conquers the sun or gets the power of the sun. I forgot which one.
Oh yeah,
They probably wouldn't use that one. There's a lot of things you need to
Yeah, like I don't think
history.
like
he can over radiate himself and become stronger. Yeah, like he can go into the sun and get even stronger because the closer he is to the sun, the stronger he.
Yeah, I don't think Superman game is doable.
Yeah, it's not like you could like for example, there's been TV shows where Superman is way more limited, like a Smallville. I don't know if you've ever heard of the Smallville show.
Smallville. Yeah, I mentioned
But
Smallville.
I'm telling you, if a
Smallville is
Smallville game
amazing.
came out, that game go get dragged. It's gonna be like, you wanted to make a Superman Smallville game? This is dumb.
He's not really limited, and he limits himself in Smallville because
That's true. That's true. That's the
maintaining.
premise.
He's not a superhero yet, so he's not. He's maintaining his identity as
Identity.
Clark
Yeah,
Kent
it's an
and
identity
everything that he's
thing, and
doing. Yeah, so he's like
being in high school and
he's
all
being
that.
more cautious, but he's not limited. Still, like,
Yeah.
oh, I can't show everything I got.
Yeah. You're right. The expectations is that he needs to be able to smash into buildings, smash into Earth.
He needs to be able to fly through planets.
Like
Yep, he needs to be able to crash through a building and the building explodes and all this drama.
like that. Like
and-
basically, Man of Steel needs to be a
Yep.
video game. Basically.
Yes, yeah. Man of Steel needs to be the standard. I agree. That film's action sequence is basically what you need to be able to do in the game. If you could do that, you got yourself a good Superman game.
Just leave it alone. So that was a pretty good "What's on Your Mind" segment. We are hour. That's it. How about we start the show and get into the topic? Yobi, I do want to say thank you for coming through. I don't know if I've acknowledged you yet. And
You haven't.
Incredible Hulk Ultimate Destruction. I know someone brought up a good Hulk game.
Yeah, thank you. That was a good game, man.
And yeah, and like that's Hulk was nothing in the Avengers game compared to what he is, what we expect life that is 100%. Yeah, let's go ahead and
That Avengers game had him losing to fodder, bro. It made no sense.
Yeah.
Because how is dude with a gun gonna do any kind of damage to Hulk, bro? It made no sense.
If anything, dude with guns should make Hulk stronger. Because Hulk should be mad that he's getting shot. Like, yeah. Yeah, we can go ahead to our first topic today, which is I guess the biggest news of the weekend. PlayStation had a 24-hour outage, I think. Now PlayStation has not come out and given an official word as what is the cause of this outage. There's some people trying to think a hack. Reports are now suggesting that it is possibly a massive DDoS attack, which is a denial of service. And while PlayStation has not really given us information, they gave us a half-hearted apology along with 5 extra days of free PS Plus, and I think they worked something out with Monster Hunter Wild, where the beta gets for 5 days for PlayStation only. So, based on this outage, there's been a lot of different discussions whether it Dej trying to spin it in a Microsoft issue or GameStop coming out and just absolutely shitting on digital game sales, saying I bet you wish you had now. So we've seen a wide variety of reactions to this outage that really affect gamers across the globe. It wasn't a regional thing. So I would kick off diehard PlayStation people, but I think I'm gonna kick this off with Jubei, being that I feel like he's most effective because it is a digital purchase game. So Jubei, as a digital purchaser of video games, having a PS1 outage, would attempt to play any games and how is your experience?
Nope, I didn't attempt to play anything on PlayStation once I saw it was down. I just hopped on my Xbox.
Okay. So they were saying that people who purchase games digitally weren't able to access those games during the outage.
I wasn't gonna put myself through the stress. That's why I have multiple ways to play games.
Yeah, that's why I came to you first, because I figured you might try. Give us a good word on Monday. But if not, what are your thoughts regarding now? Extra in your compensation for your
I think I mean, 5 days of PS Plus isn't great. Like, imagine like you just bought like a game right before that outage and then you couldn't fucking use it. And it's not like you could just get a refund on it because the shit didn't work. Because Sony's gonna be like, well, the game's not broken, it's our service. So I don't think it's enough. But that's just me. They could have did way more. I really want to know what the cause was, because it's kind of crazy to just be down for a long time without any real reason.
Yeah, I do think as a customer, we trust a lot of our information. I think we deserve an explanation for sure.
Especially with a company that's already been susceptible to hacks.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what's going on, and why couldn't they communicate what's going on? What's with all the secrecy? Like they
Yeah,
yeah.
I think if it was strictly just a DDoS attack, I think they would have just said a DDoS attack. I think it might be a little something more than that, but I'm not gonna go out on the limit like a full blown hack where customer information like that. Um, I do think the lack of transparency is a is the biggest. It's
Yep.
bigger than 24 hours. Not
Yeah, I just wanted to know why. Why is the service down? And what are we going to do to prevent service from being down like this?
they're not much. But I'll swing it over to Omar because it sounds like he has. What are your thoughts regarding outage over the weekend? And
Okay.
and
Yeah, continue.
and how do you feel about the 5 days of compensation, the extra Monster in the Wilds beta time?
Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna call both I'll call people out. The people that pretended that you can play games on PlayStation 5 during the outage, it's bullshit. Because I was literally beating High on Knife and not High on Knife, High on Life.
Digitally,
Like,
you purchased you had a digital copy of the game.
yeah,
Okay.
like that. Beyond the people that couldn't play it, do you know why? Because they had either two things not done right. Either they were not the primary console owner,
Yeah.
that's number one issue, or they didn't allow for a digital purchase to be played offline, which
Yeah.
another thing that they need to. So,
Or the final one is they're not like maybe you, Omar. I know certainly me. You just download everything. Like I do have a lot of digital games, mostly physical, but I have a lot of digital games. I have them all downloaded and installed. I don't
yeah,
uninstall things. No, call me a hoarder, but I've got like old games that I might want to play at any particular time. It's still installed.
Yeah, you got that. You
yeah,
got that external though, right? You got an external.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
do have an external. That's true.
Yeah, but the thing is, they pretended, and that's the issue is, and again, people spreading misinformation and not believing that because outrage, outage and stuff like that. It's like I have a PlayStation 5. I'm not gonna uh lie to myself and believe them when I'm literally playing High on Life.
Yeah,
Like,
but
yeah,
you also have to think like people that game share like that is a normal thing. That is a service that they allow you to do. That's down. Like to act like nobody was affected by
dude,
this is
dude,
crazy.
dude, dude, dude,
Like
dude. I'm game sharing. Literally, I was game sharing while I didn't change a thing on my setting. I just didn't play games that I was game sharing with. I had my own games to play.
that's fine, but that's not the case for everybody. If everybody wants to use the service that's like, hey, you can play all these games because you're subscribed to this fucking service, they expect that shit to work. Period.
I mean,
You can't discount the fact that it didn't work.
I can't discount the fact it didn't work because there is a problem that we literally talked about. Games shouldn't be online, always online, and with game sharing, you need to be always online. That's the reality of things.
Okay, then let's not have game sharing then.
That's on people to decide.
Really on the company to decide. But
That's
I like game sharing. I don't want
game
restriction.
sharing. Game sharing is not forced on people. People have the choice to game share. And if you game share, then you should know by definition. If you lose your internet connection for more than 15 minutes, you're gonna get locked out of the game.
But it's not losing the internet connection though. It's Sony's
No,
fucking fault. It's not like it's
no,
your
no,
internet. It's Sony.
no. I'm explaining what happened with game sharing. Yeah, they had an outage. No one said anything about that. However, you can't complain about an outage when it's an outage. You said it yourself. We don't know what
Yes, you
happened.
can.
It's not
Yes,
like
you can.
PlayStation did it. Hold up. It's not like PlayStation did it on purpose. If your internet connection, if your internet provider have an outage, do
Yep.
you, do you get compensation for that?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, we do.
We don't, but okay.
That sucks. It's built into our contracts. Like it's when we sign up for that service, if it's down, yes. If you have business, absolutely. Especially if you have business class services with them.
What do you mean with this?
Like if you're a business, like a small business, and you have your internet service provider and they have an outage, that internet service provider.
They have to give you white glove service with
I
business.
never
Like
heard of it.
that shit
But
has to be up
okay.
within like 24 hours, bro. Like it has to be.
Yeah, because like your
That's
business,
that's in your contract terms.
you're unable.
Yeah, because
Otherwise,
it's not even
they
just
could
about
sue
gaming; it's about
for lost.
money.
Yeah, they could sue for lost money, which is bigger than fixing the problem.
And like same thing, like if your cell phone service goes out, you typically get a credit. If your cable goes out for some reason for an extended period of time, you get a credit.
Yep.
That's loss of service is always on the service provider's fault. Doesn't matter why it happened. The compensation some way or form for your loss.
I've never been compensated before, but okay.
You gotta call and complain. If you don't call and complain, then yeah,
Maybe no,
they're not gonna do
maybe
nothing. They're not gonna do nothing for you. They're gonna
maybe no, maybe it's just a USA thing, because I never heard about that as another one whatsoever. Like maybe this just maybe a USA thing. But besides the point, to me, game sharing is there for people to use it if they want to. But if they game share, they need to know that you need to be always online. And whether PlayStation, Xbox, or yourself internet provider always online is not reliable. That's the reality. That's literally the reality. And GameStop is making fun of it. But get this, and this is including for PlayStation and Xbox and even PC. Even if you buy your game physical, you still need to download them, install them.
yeah,
Yeah,
because the disc
we
So,
allowed that to happen.
the disc doesn't contain the games anymore. The disc just
so
holds the license for that.
some games are not installable and you can just play them. Like for example, I have here Monster Hunter Stories. If I want to play Monster Hunter Stories, I need to install them before playing.
Yeah, that's normal for most games.
That's our reality. So it's to me, it's like we are not only independent, but like we need always online because this is our situation now. There is no way to switch it over, no matter how many digs other companies and Gamecom try to give to physical, you're to digital. You're not gonna get that. We are literally in digital age, and we're seeing what happened when we rely too much on it. But again, we need to because there is no other solution.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think that this outage, beyond it being a PlayStation issue, I think it does shed a light on um, additional measures that these companies take to make sure that there isn't uh, a large amount of dead time where you can't game. I understand, multiplayer live service, those type of things, but if you purchase um a game and it has any type of offline mode, any type of modes that don't require connect to the internet, then away from the
Sadly, you're still gonna get be forced to install them. And if you don't have internet,
well
well, tough luck.
well yeah, the game has to be installed. I don't have any issue with that, but I do think there's an issue like when you go to play that installed game and you can't even like they don't even have like a some sort of mode you can play where you're not like online, like like for instance, like Fortnite. They have like a target practice, something like that, like a kind of like a skills mode, kind of work on skills during if for some reason the internet is like, there needs to be something to address at times in in game if the internet is out after like, there's off time. I would think that. But both of you already started to talk about it. So your yeah, what were your thoughts regarding the outage? I know you're a mainly physical guy, so I'm sure you weren't affected greatly. First, yeah, what were your thoughts on both of you want advice?
Yeah, is that okay?
All right. Now, as the resident Nintendo guy, all he has is like all these
Mhm.
little cartridges, all this stuff. Doesn't doesn't deal with the hesitancy of the internet. This is the internet.
That's gonna be next gen for him. Wait, just wait.
How did you
No,
feel
internet-
looking? How, how did you feel looking down at the peon from Nintendo, like,
Not the
seeing
peon.
seeing this outage, Zero?
I mean, as always, like an outage sucks because like people can't play the games that they want to play. And we sort of touched on it earlier. While like, yes, you avoid this by buying physical games, sure. But part of my always feeling about it is like, while I understand that this is how you avoid that, sort of the whole like you're dragging us to this all digital future regardless. So I don't really like to completely lay the blame at the feet of people who don't buy physical. Let alone, as we talked about earlier, there's an entire new generation who the games that they play just don't even exist in physical form.
Yeah.
There's no physical version of Fortnite.
Right.
But like, am I blamed for liking Fortnite? Right? Like, well, why don't you play a real game? Well, I like Fortnite. Like, it shouldn't matter, right? I'm just gaming. I'm not taking anything away from anybody else. But now I can't play. Now, granted, it's not as though the service was out for that long of a time. I know a couple of things were affected. Destiny and Bungie were affected pretty badly because they were doing their dungeon race, which I don't know what they wound up doing to sort of fix that. Because usually it's about a 24 to 48 hour time period of just a race that starts on the weekend. And nobody could play. So like that definitely messed up a lot of people's schedules. So maybe they'll redo it, but it's too little, too late now. The dungeon is out, so I have to look up to see how they did with that. Um, it's not the worst thing in the world. And Pharaoh, you're absolutely right. What I'm hoping is that this puts a light on these other companies to ensure, and Sony as well, to say, hey man, we need to make sure this service is up and running all the time. Because you kind of have to, right? Like in an all digital world, you have to always be available.
Yeah.
And I think when you begin to become unavailable often, that audience is really going to turn on you pretty badly. I don't know what that looks like. Chances are, like, if it's a video game audience, do they move to another console, i.e., Nintendo at this point?
Steam is becoming more and more practical option.
Oh yeah, or the PC side, because
Yeah.
like they'll never have
Nice.
anything go out unless like their internet goes out. So like, yeah, there's the PC stuff. I'm not. This certainly isn't as bad as it was it 2011?
Yeah,
The 2011 outage.
2011, Sony was down for like 20.
Yeah, like
Yobi
that.
brought it up.
Are you expecting Nintendo to follow through
Follow through with.
with joining next gen, which is basically always online?
No. Um,
Yeah,
a lot of their stuff, because honestly, I think no, because they just don't seem to have much interest in doing online or making their online robust.
yeah, online is there for you to
Their
use, but it's
their
not a staple
focus
of their development.
their focus for next gen is third part multiplat.
I don't think
And
that's
that's what
their focus. I think the hardware is more powerful, and people saw the sales of the Switch, and they want to be on it. I don't think Nintendo has never cared about third party support because they make their money off of their first party.
And even if you did, right, like the reality of the Switch is still the portable gaming device. So you can't really functionally have an always online device if you also want people to take it anywhere.
Yeah.
Because not everywhere has Wi-Fi for you to play.
You hop on a
So
train, you're in an elevator, you're
yeah, I mean, like they've not gotten away from that messaging as far as I can tell. Of like, hey guys, take the Switch everywhere you want to go. So I don't know if always online is really a function for them. Outside of a lot of the games that they make in Nintendo games don't require it. Like it just like there's not a necessity for Mario or Samus or Yoshi or anything always to be online. Like I don't think it would make a lot of logical sense to put them up there. Who knows? You know, Nintendo always does the most backwards thing ever, but I don't think so. I don't think this is going to be their problem. And hopefully this won't be Sony's problem again, at least for a long time, or Xbox's problem. You know, it sucks. I'm not going to necessarily make the world out of it. I guess the 5-day thing is fine. I don't know how much you're supposed to give people
I would say
for an
give them at least
outage.
a month. I think a month.
A month feels like a lot, but maybe not. I don't know. You know what? Bring back themes. That would shut everybody up.
Hey,
Like,
Send them the variant.
yes.
I know we're not on What's on Your Mind anymore, but apparently they fired most of the UI UX guys from PlayStation. I don't think you're getting those teams.
So you throw themes in that bad boy, and nobody will care. You could be out for another 30 days, and people are like, that's all right, that's all right. Look at this sick theme I got though. So yeah, it's not great, but to me, it's not the worst thing in the world. They're gonna be okay. Everybody's back to playing games now. It's all right.
I guess I'll add. Sorry for jumping in before. Guess my take on it is, instead of getting 5 days tacked on to our subscription, I would have taken some credit towards a purchase instead.
Yeah.
Might have been better. Yeah.
You're like $10 towards a game or something like that. But
Yeah, I would have rather like.
$10 is a month of PlayStation Plus. That's what I'm saying. Like that's the equivalent of a month. $10.
Yeah, I guess I guess I value just being able to outright make a purchase, get a digital license for a game. But I get it. A couple of days, I suppose, is fine. I don't necessarily disagree with Jubei or you, Pharaoh, about them just mentioning, why the outage was that. I think part of the reason why I agree with you guys is how dominant PlayStation Network is in the gaming space, right? Like, I think there was some statistic on how much internet traffic is routed just for people playing on PlayStation or using a PlayStation account. We're getting close to 10% of, like, I think Americans, or it was, I think, in the modernized world. That's pretty significant. So, that is a level of impact where you should answer those kind of questions automatically.
Yeah.
And yeah. Yeah, other than that, I think the window, I think you're right, Farrah, was somewhere between 18 and 24 hours, something like this. Um, I think it would have looked much more ugly had it gone, much further than that. But since it didn't, and just like you, Omar, I was playing all a bunch of games right when it was going down. I was playing, I think Visions of Mana was what I was playing the most. Oh, I've been playing Tunic too. I've been back on Tunic. Um, So, I've been having a good time, and the internet connection.
So
I
what
think I
you're
already had
telling me,
the
you were not affected by it.
Yeah, it really didn't bother me at all.
The only thing I can comment on is
Well,
Go ahead.
the Monster Hunter demo beta, and you
Yes.
couldn't get into. But they
Yes.
gave you 5 days to enjoy it, so
yeah.
Yep,
I
and they
agree with
got
that,
this
though.
weekend as well.
I
So
would
maybe
say
it's like 8 days straight.
I would say most people on this panel are not necessarily online players. I mean, they enjoy
Yeah.
an online game. They like
Last year I might have been disappointed. I did a lot of Remnant 2 last year. It was
I'd
obsession.
actually say I'm actually a pretty big online gamer. I just happen to own all 3 systems.
Yeah.
So it's just sort of like, wow, PlayStation is down. Okay, I have a Switch and an Xbox to play, so it doesn't like bother me that much. But again, like you guys know, I used to play a lot of Destiny. I would have been pretty upset had I been continuing playing Destiny and I could not play the new dungeon when it dropped.
Oh, they suck.
I would have liked to play Marvel Rivals. I always pop into that. I got Black Ops. Hell, if this was the week that Monster Hunter came out, I'd be furious.
I thought I saw something to where they did like a promo, you know, like to kind of like assuage people who were affected by the outage. But as soon as the outage was over, they took away the promo for Destiny.
Oh, no, I honestly I don't follow them much anymore.
Okay.
I just knew that the dungeon had come out, and I knew there was some effect that happened. The most recent thing I know is they had some Star Wars armor,
You know,
which actually looked pretty sick.
while we're talking about Destiny, the final never call your final DLC the final anything because that killed their player base.
Well, you're not wrong, but that
I
was
thought it was it too.
It was a part of the plan.
I'm not saying it wasn't, but you call it the final shape, and then you basically confirm to people, oh yeah, we don't have anything after this. Then people are like, oh, bet, and then they just
When there
play
was another
something else.
DLC announced, I was shocked, to be honest with you. I didn't know what was going on.
Well, it's a longer story, but to put it simply, let's consider it like the MCU, where there was a 10-year plan, and they executed on that 10-year plan.
Oh yeah,
and now we're in the what comes after.
My thing is,
I mean,
we're
after Thanos.
It's just the message. I don't care about the execution because I feel like they executed perfect. Like there's no Destiny fan who was upset with how the game ended per se, but the fact that you like finalized your own game kind of killed your own player base. It's kind of
like I said, it's a tough thing. But because even the final shape has a very specific meaning.
Yeah.
So like I hear you. I'm not even gonna say you're wrong. But like to defend it, if you will, like there is a reason. And it's not as like this is a silly naming convention as it is like there's a very specific reason why we called it this thing.
Yeah, I believe it. I think they.
I hear you though. I get it.
I think finding a different word for final would have. I think you should probably have another 20,000 gamers on month average maintaining Destiny. They don't feel like it's over, but once you tell them that it's over, it's like I'm not motivated. Some people, I think, back to outage. Thought. We're on Kofi. I think we kind of.
No, yeah. What was I talking about? I was just my thoughts on the outage. I think that was basically it. Yeah.
Okay. And Mr. I'm not affected by any of these outages. I don't pay for PC Master Race Snappy. What are your thoughts regarding, the console peasant paying for an online service that can go down for hours?
Y'all deserve a free month of PlayStation, whatever. That at minimum is what y'all deserve. Y'all, there is no excuse, especially during this time, why your server should be down like that.
Yeah.
And also, for the love of God, freeze if you're using your debit cards, freeze them, or PayPal's, freeze them. We don't know if information got stolen yet.
They didn't.
I would. I would just freeze it just in case.
I don't work in compliance, but when do they have to announce it by? It's like in a certain amount of days that they have to announce it they've been hacked.
Yeah, I don't remember. I'm not a compliance person, but
it's like 14 days, like 10 or 14 days they have to know that they've been hacked.
Yeah, if they definitely been hacked and information been stolen, they need to come out in the public. But also, it's kind of sad though that like we live in a day where like something like that can stop you from playing games. Like I've heard people personally that I know of who were affected by the hack. They couldn't play some of their single player games, which why even though the game was fully downloaded, it had to be had to check in with the internet or something. And now I do know that like some people have ways of like saying if this is my main console, I don't have to do that. But I mean, I don't know if these people using PlayStation Share or whatnot. Either way, you are providing a service. The server was down. There's no excuse for it. Also, the fact that Monster Hunter literally had one of their beta weekends and you just blocked off a whole player base. That isn't cool. We could have had more hunters. Heck, I could have hit up Kofi, and Kofi could have helped me out with this one fucking dragon, but PlayStation was down. Now I can't hit up Kofi. We can't play Monster Hunter together. That's unfortunate. And not only that, like the weekends are honestly the only time I can get like a full day worth of Monster Hunter. Like I can't get my time back. Just because you gave me 5 extra days, now you asking me to squeeze in an hour gaming session for the next 5 weekdays. So I have to go to work and then I have to drive an hour to work and an hour from work. That's 10 hours out of my day gone. You don't know what else I have planned. Like maybe I'm in school. I could be studying. Like I said, I want a free. Everyone deserves a free PlayStation whatever membership for a month, free month, because that's bullshit. Because at the end of the day, people can't get their time back.
Yobi
That's
says,
like the biggest number one thing.
Yobi says give him a year. I think a year is a little excessive, but I mean, I'm with it. Anything that benefits the customer. Because I am the customer.
Yeah. So, but and then it just makes me think, like, say for instance, like PC players, we believe it or not, we do have like we have a lot of DRM in our games. That even in our single player games, especially when they first come out for the first 2 to 3 months. Like I remember when I have Verizon, my Verizon internet service went down because there was an outage for some random reason. I couldn't, even though Monster Hunter World you could play by yourself. This was around the time when Monster Hunter World just first came out, and I was not able to play the game because I couldn't authenticate with the Steam servers, even though it has an offline mode. So trust me, I know. Like Tekken 8, till this day, I still can't play offline. I have to check in. It has DRM where I have to check in with the internet just to play Tekken 8. And it's honestly the reason, like, PC players, we will honestly just break our DRMs ourselves because it's bullshit. But I understand the pain of like having internet down and not having access to your games. It sucks. It's stupid. At the same time, I understand why DRM is there because I don't know if you guys heard, some idiot decided to like post that, hey, I got Final Fantasy Rebirth for free with this Pirate Bay link, and talk about they got someone claimed to have like 100,000 copies downloaded, which Final Fantasy Rebirth, if you guys don't know, launched with no DRM whatsoever. And stuff like that is the reason why games launch with DRM, and it fucks us over. So it's kind of it sucks though. But honestly, again, Sony, they got money, they got servers. Like I said, give us all a free month of whatever PlayStation Premium crap, whatever. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah. So, hey, I'm with a month.
Yobi's with
I
a
know.
year.
Yeah, and I understand if you've been a long time PlayStation customer, you've dealt with a lot of internet issues over the course of the PlayStation life cycle. So I can see where it has some frontal people that are like, you know, it's time for Sony to pay for all of these issues. Y'all done lost my account information. y'all done been down for a month at a time. Now y'all had this 24-hour outage. Like, when are y'all gonna learn? Type thing. Um, I can see where some people would have those type of breaks. Um, but PlayStation is not my primary console. 3 months, I would be satisfied. I can understand for the others would demand more based on some of the shortcomings that they've had regarding the internet service. But with that said, we're going to roll in topic number 2, and that was the EA CEO recently, when discussing the failure that is Dragon Age Guard. He blamed the game's failure on it not having live service element. Basically saying that if the game was live service, the game would have 60 kids. And I know it sparked a ton of controversy in the industry because not every game is a live service game, and definitely doesn't need to be a live service game. That's maybe I haven't played Dragon Age Guard, so maybe for the type of game that they were aiming to make, it would have been better off as a live service. But is the game they were trying to make true to previous Dragon Age games? Is a question I would have. But this was a topic that Omar brought to the front, so I'm gonna let him kick it off, kind of give his thoughts on it. So, uh, what were your thoughts regarding EA's comments?
So I haven't played Vanguard. I need to make that known upfront. Besides that, make absolutely no sense with this comment. Like, did he forget? We just literally covered one game. We can cover what? I genuinely lost count the amount of live service games getting death sentence every month now. Heck, we had a few that went that ahead and died in the same week at the same time. Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is out of touch with reality mentality level of stupid. It's like the definition Suicide Squad. That game is dead.
Yeah, but I
The
don't think the live service killed that game. I thought it was more just didn't rock with.
no, the lighter didn't as well.
What do you think? Zero as a person? Oh, and Nappy, you were there for that game day one. Good. What do y'all think?
Well, for
Ultimately,
Concord?
no, Suicide Squad.
I think it's a little bit of both.
What do you think ultimately killed that game?
I mean, the story, the gameplay. Okay, I'll say the story started off strong at first. I'll give it that because the Batman section, fun, fighting the Flash, cool. And then all of a sudden we got to Green Lantern. That's when you realize, like,
Yeah, like this is bad.
oh, this is it. This is not changing. Like, I got the game for $6, and I still don't feel like I'm satisfied with that.
And you need your money back, eh?
It's been past 2 weeks. I got 2 copies from me and my girl so we could play together, and the movement system is already janky as hell. Heck, like the button prompts for the combat is just so janky too. It's just ew.
To me, it's a combination of a lot of things and no one true thing.
Okay.
Because it didn't need to be live service, but like that still wouldn't have saved that game because all the issues that Nappy pointed out still would have existed. But also some of the last, like having new characters come would have been cool. So it's a death by 1,000 cuts.
Okay. So I didn't want to cut you off, Omar, but I felt like they could
No, the
add some
plane.
good, I feel like they could add some good context. If there's anything you want to add more to the Dragon Age, feel free.
Dragon. It. At the end of the day, this is just this remind me with the same tone deafness that the CEO from Warner Brother did with when I forgot which Warner Brother or not, but when Suicide first came out, Suicide Squad, and it flopped and it tanked massively, and yet you had a game that destroyed. I'm not sure if it destroyed Call of Duty, but it absolutely sold better, and which was a game that got boycotted, mind you. Uh, Hogwarts Legacy. And the developers, not developer, the CEO saw that success, and he was like, "Oh no, we're gonna double down on live service games." Only to later backpedal. This literally mirroring that level of incompetent activity. And to make matters worse, there was a developer that I think he is ex-developer. From BioWare, and he stated, if I had to create a live service game, I would have left."
Yeah.
So
Live service is not easy. Definitely not.
it goes to show you the disconnect between the developers and the CEO.
Uh,
It,
I agree. I've always, my stance is that games should evolve into live service games. For the most part, they should start out as live service, especially like when it's like something new and you're trying it out. Like, see if people actually like the game first. It's a big commitment, not a um,
That's a good take. I agree with
it's
that.
not a cheap endeavor.
It's
But
your
if people
time.
really
You
like
don't
the
get your time
characters
back.
and want to see more, then you could take that step.
you
But
could
yeah,
add-
just coming out like everybody's gonna love our game, everybody's gonna play it, right? Because we need hundreds of thousands of people to play this every month. You love it, right? And they're like, it's all right, and then your game is dead
Well,
because that's all you're focused on.
when you start out as just a full game from start to finish, if people love your game, they're buying it at full price. They're buying a complete experience at full price. Then
Yep.
once you make live service, then you're just making extra money on top of the money that you already secured off of the window. Like perfect example, Elden Ring. Nappy was just talking about it. Elden Ring's basically going live service when they add this multiplayer mode.
That's true. That's a great point.
So they've already made their money off of Elden Ring off of full game sales. When they add the live service component, that's just a icing on the cake. And that's how most of these games should do it. I mean, that's what GTA did. GTA didn't start out with GTA Online. It evolved into GTA Online. Like a lot of these games that turn big evolve into live service games. Most games that start out as live service games, they start out, you know, kind of bullshit. My French. And then they evolve and either become good or they evolve into no longer existing. So it's like, you know, I think you make a full sale game with your initial build it out. That's but it's we got Nappy and Zero to talk a little bit. We got to talk. So, you've been quiet for a minute. What are your thoughts regarding Dragon Age Veilguard would have done better as a live service?
I don't agree. I mean, honestly, I feel like ugh, I own the game. I haven't played it. From what I've seen, I know the writing's bad in quite a few areas. But it's like what we honestly should have got was, I don't know if you guys played the expansion for Dragon Age 2. That is so much better than the base game for Dragon Age 2. Crazy. And they could have gave us more of that, and they didn't. I don't think it being live service would have helped. EA, I don't think is capable of it. Anthem would have been fine if they were.
So you think that the game was dead on arrival?
Not even that it's dead on arrival, because EA's dropped some bangers for us, but they don't. I think they're looking at these things the wrong way.
The crazy part is this game did so bad they literally put Dragon Age franchise on ice.
So,
Eh,
my question is: did the original Dragon Age writers contribute to this?
and I don't know.
Because I don't think they did. And you try to bring back one of these franchises. To me, you either gotta have to bring back some of the original people who worked on the game because they know what they're trying to design and what they want the game to feel like. They want to convey to
Right.
the audience, or you have to get the audience involved and like have like some focus group that help make your game. Because like if you just throw some like if you throw a brand new Mass Effect game out there, but nobody who worked on Mass Effect has anything to do with the next Mass Effect, it's that game
Yeah,
flops.
they're gonna say it's trash.
Andromeda.
Yeah.
Look what happened to Andromeda.
Andromeda had people from Mass Effect working on it though.
Yeah.
It was just unfinished and buggy, just like fucking Anthem.
Like a funding. That was more of like a funding issue than the publishers like you need to hurry up and get this shit out. And
No, it was actually what you call it engine issue. They were forced to work with engines that was not supposed to be working with.
yeah, the publisher tells you what you got to do, which is EA, and they're like, well, make chicken salad out of chicken shit. It's a bad game. That's why I went Anthem. Like EA was on a run where they was just like, we don't give a fuck, make the game, hurry up, get it out, and we ended up getting fucked up games as a
And then gets all Pikachu face, shock face when it doesn't do well.
because if they would have done Anthem right, Anthem might be what COD is today. Honestly, if they would have got Anthem right, that game has so much hype behind it. Like,
Just had no content, and then like if like they chose profit over making a game where they could have made profit in the long run had they just gave us a quality product. But no, we don't get that.
Anthem could have been what Fortnite is today, man. Like Anthem could have been big.
Could have been.
Yeah,
It could have been huge.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not saying it would have
That's
been
what happens when
Fortnite,
you
but
have
I'm
no
just saying
focus.
that game had a lot of potential. Like the concept itself had a lot of potential, and people were super excited when they saw it for the first time on that stage. It had a lot of. I'll say that.
We're just at the point where like they just making unnecessary changes to make unnecessary changes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But I don't know if anyone else had anything they wanted to contribute, like into Dragon Age Veilguard specifically. I know I involved Nappy and Zero talking kind of about the failures of Suicide Squad. The one that you want to contribute talking about Dragon Age comments, or you guys ready to?
I only got one thing to say. We literally just lost another live service game last week, which was what was the WB one? The Multiverse has literally just shut down.
R.I.P. my heart.
And they killed. This is the second time that game has died because it.
Yes.
So
they brought it back.
The problem with live service games, and this is honestly something I kind of starting to see even on the mobile end as well, is a live service game should fill a void, not necessarily just be there just because someone else has done something that's also successful. It's like nobody asked for multiverse, for WB Multiverse, but it got it for whatever reason. Nobody asked for Concord, really, but we got it. It's like
I agree with that.
Nobody asked for Suicide Squad. Nobody asked for Avengers.
Well, the thing is, the Suicide Squad game eventually had to come out. It was just a matter of execution because they are releasing a steady flow of DC Universe titles. It was only a matter of time before a Suicide Squad
Yeah,
really did come out. It was gonna happen.
yeah. So the thing about it is like everybody wants to chase a live service train, but they're like, oh, we don't have a void to fill, and we're not willing to risk creating something that's completely brand new.
Yep.
So it's like, just don't make a live service game. Like, it's like, that's
Yep.
like, if Dragon Age would have been live service, if it most likely would have failed. I cannot see. I haven't played it. My girlfriend, she plays it. She says the story is okay-ish, but she hasn't even finished it because she hasn't even picked that game up in like 2 months or so. So
And
it's just like this. If it was a live service game, I guarantee you she would have hated it.
and one thing that I will say is where we have made it to now in gaming, the graphics are so good that graphics aren't necessarily um you know what sells games anymore. For the most part. So I think a lot of these developers scaled down their budgets as far as like trying to give us the most like, visually stunning game and just, you know, focus a little bit more on the creativity, a bit more on gameplay elements. Because nowadays I feel like most of us gamers are not looking for the best game on the market. We're looking for something that's fun and unique and that gives us, play and have a new experience that's fun to talk about.
I can agree with that.
Like, I know you agree with it, Cole, because you play a lot of games that are more on a double A scale as a JRPG gamer. Like,
Yeah.
like it's not about, a beautiful game. Don't get me wrong. We all love to have, like one or two a year, but I don't think that's what's, guiding our purchase decisions nowadays. Like, if you look at the biggest game, if we look on the top 10 list of big games, almost none of them are the most visually stunning games every year.
Yeah, I mean, besides lower end hard, the more people that have the ability to access your game, the better. It's no
Yeah.
point.
I
Yeah.
think another issue is game developers trying to do too much in the game. Like, to me, learn how to allocate your budget, dude.
Well, I think they just
Like,
need to scale the budget back and stop focusing so much on graphics. Like graphical fidelity is what
not
so much of
only
your
just
budget.
like some gameplay mechanic in Rebirth didn't even need to be there. When you are doing that puzzle with the dual sense, when you're trying to pick up the mushroom, like this is literally a gameplay mechanic for one simple game, for one simple gameplay, for one simple mini game that doesn't even happen after it in the game entirely.
And then if you
Like
do the mushroom wrong, you don't get the rights and all that.
just mushroom, look it with a button. That's it. You don't need a minigame out of it.
Yeah, I mean,
This is like it's just in stuff like that. It just to me it feels like developers and publishers also believe more means better, but that's not always the
yeah,
case.
but say sometimes it does, but in most times, I mean, if it
And
doesn't,
bigger is better, but that's not always the case.
I agree. I, I would much rather have smaller games than bigger games. And
And compact, yeah.
I'm talking about not just from from a person who doesn't have a lot of time to play a ton of games that are like 100 hours long, but even from like a publisher perspective, like think I'm gonna play 10 100-hour games? No, but if you make like 10 40-hour games, I might be able to get through like 3 4 of them things. Might get me to buy 4 of your games.
Yep.
Whereas like if you make 400-hour games, I might be able to buy 2. and get through both of them. So I mean, like, I think the 100-hour game, these 80-hour games. I think you can make games smaller and create better experiences within the game, and then
Hmm.
sell more games because you're actually making more games instead of making longer games. So I mean, I think there's room for improvement in that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all for games that don't have to push the graphics barrier, but I also will say something like Crimson Desert looks
Yeah,
incredible,
you
and it
balance it
will be a
out.
day one purchase.
Yeah, about to say balance
Yeah,
it out. It doesn't. You, you don't have to commit.
Crimson Desert, Crimson Desert. I feel like this is a 300-hour game.
that's what I'm saying too.
Yeah,
That's also
but
gonna be a
Crimson.
long
I'm
game.
about to say. I thought. All right, so Crimson Desert isn't strictly a single player game, is it?
It
I don't think
is.
so.
Yeah, about to
Is
say.
it
It is.
for
No,
sure?
yeah, it is an absolutely single player game. Have zero microtransactions, zero life service whatsoever. It's confirmed. This is why
No
Okay.
co-op, no nothing.
no co-op, no nothing.
Oh,
This is
okay.
strictly
Yeah, I'm
single.
here for it.
Yeah, it's I remember. So when Crimson Desert was first revealed, all school of us remember what's his name. FC was actually in the group chat, and he saw it, and he is a huge fan of the live service
EDO.
one,
Yeah,
Crimson. I forgot what it's
Black
called.
Desert Online. Black
Yeah,
Desert.
precisely, and he dropped it. Uh, so he was always afraid that that game gonna come, that's gonna be like that. But no, this is the life. This is a single player game. True. So
That will help with development.
sorry.
That will help them with development. If they don't have to worry about playing online and servers and loading, they can focus on one type of experience. So that's kind of cool.
It's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna implement it with this one.
Yeah.
Cause it's big, dude. It feels like it's gonna be years to
I
finish
mean,
it.
they had that Zelda skydiving type moment, and then you go right into like super high complexity gameplay with elements going on. I mean,
Yeah, like
explosions in these big buildings. I mean,
you
castles.
you you can fly. There are multiple characters to play as.
Yeah,
Like
it looked
what you gonna
insane.
do? What yeah, this game is gonna be wild. I'm excited for it, but I'm also prepared for it mentally because I'm expecting a lot of hours to put into it.
True.
Yeah. So we hit the Dragon Age topic on the head. We even transitioned to talking about other games. Means it's time to dive into our
Yeah, that's on it.
final topic of the day.
Oh,
And we were talking about Sony and their recent they purchased a larger stake in Kodakawa. Part of that larger stake, they're expanding their partnership, and as part of that expansion, they are publishing um, more of Kodakawa's From Software titles, in addition to trying to license out some of those into shows um, and animes
anime.
in anime. So um, I think, and I kind of like I didn't want to focus purely on Kodakawa because I think we're seeing a trend at Sony over the past couple of years, and line it up with what what the CEO said about them not having a lot of strong IP, which I kind of roll my eyes at because I mean I've been around for about as long as PlayStation has for as long as PlayStation has been around, and
That's a fair statement. I
and
said I've been around.
so um, they have quite a few IP that I remember. Um, so it's just a funny statement to hear. But what I think he's really saying is he does PlayStation does not have a lot of IP that he feels that he can monetize in multiple ways. Like, there's not gonna be a Parappa the Rapper anime or movie, even though it's an IP they own. I'm just going with that one. Um,
They're learning, at least. We're getting Ghost of Tsushima anime.
Yeah, you're getting to go stream anime. So what I
Well, to be fair, Legend anime, but okay.
but um
I have the feeling they showed Legend to add magic element to it. Otherwise, it would just have been Ghost of Tsushima anime, which is gonna be grounded in reality, no magic.
yeah, so I think the direction that we're seeing from Sony is, we've heard that, first party development is getting more and more expensive. I think they plan on leaning more on these second party deals and being able to find the most interesting IP that they can and secure it, lock it up in a way where maybe it's not I don't think they're focused on the exclusivity of the game anymore. I think they want the game, but they want the game that they can also turn into an anime and a movie and a TV show.
That
So, but I don't think they want to put it all allocate all that budget to their first party doing it per se. So I think we're seeing it with Rise of Ronin, Stellar Blade, now this Kodakawa deal, um, Death Stranding 2 coming out. Um, but those are just ones that come off my head at the moment. But I think we're seeing like the shift at Sony where they're gonna leverage partnerships more than they are their first party studio. I think the first party studios are still gonna do their core titles, but I think they're gonna start looking outside of their core studios and like just finding the best IP they can attach themselves at, you know, a bargain price as opposed to what it would cost to make it from the ground up yourself. Um, but that said, I want to kind of get people's thoughts on kind of what I said and on kind of the partnership that they announced. I'm going to kick it off with Kofi. Kofi, what are your thoughts on the Kodakawa partnership? And do you also see this as a sign of more of these type of deals taking place?
That's a really good question. I don't know if I can answer uh with any background knowledge of more deals like this taking place. What you mean by that is you mean Sony partnering with other Japanese publishers
Not just no,
and
not I'm
helping.
not specifically Japanese. Them finding the best, what they feel are the best IP that they can, signing publishing, yeah,
Ah,
signing publishing deals with them,
best
and
deal.
then and
That's
then
it.
and then and then publishing the game, but then also taking that game and turning it into anime.
yeah. I think yeah, from the perspective of just nurturing an IP that could be already a show and more popularized, and and then now has all the distribution resources through Sony, is a very good look. I guess I never considered um, solely the advantage through taking advantage of an anime just because of their reach right now into um, like distribution mediums like Crunchyroll and Funimation and things like that. Like when I think of them making anime available to people, they are the masters of that. Now that they do have like publishing rights over specific IPs, I do think that is nice to have. And a lot of those IPs, I'm trying to think the Kadokawa's most popular one. I think it's Konosuba, but I forget the
Konosuba is
other one.
hilarious. But do you see PlayStation creating a game out of it? I don't.
You said a game?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what kind of was thinking. Like, how does this
Well,
translate
they're
into a
not
game?
creating the game; they're publishing the game. So it's
They're publishing the
yeah,
games,
so
right?
they're finding someone who's already making the game and partnering up
But
with them for the publishing.
right, and but like, I kind of see what Omar's saying because maybe there will be a game that they think not only needs publishing rights, but maybe they want advertisements, or maybe they want to have some internal studio help with a developer making some games so that it can meet some sort of PlayStation quality, get the PlayStation Studios moniker, logo, and that whole thing. And I think that is why I get excited. Let me give you a little background information. The first Legend of Hero games that I imported to, play in Japanese, this is the series I love, was published by Kadokawa. So I always have a bias towards them ever since. I think their first one was 2014. So um, when I see Kadokawa, I always go, "Oh, they made those Legend of Heroes games." The games, those are the only so far as of even today. I think those are the only Legend of Heroes games where every line of dialogue. Okay, I'll say a significant the most I'll say can I say like 80% of dialogue is fully voiced. That is still not true of the new titles that come out as of late, but the Vita titles that they published, they did a really good job of a remasters with. So because of that quality of effort, I've always felt like they've had it in them to make some great games. Now Konosuba already has some games. They are not anywhere near like the caliber of RPG or adventure game like Legend of Heroes, in my opinion. But there's a lot of potential here for something. So I would love something like that, Omar. I guess to answer your question, I would really hope that they could say, "Oh, this series is really great. Let's actually make a real PlayStation, quality title out of this IP. Make a nice little trilogy to enjoy for this generation or next generation." If that's actually going to happen, I don't know. They might just want to bank out on publishing some books, mangas, do a show, to publish a movie over in Japan, and they could just, do that for the next 20 years. So I don't know if I have high confidence in them making a game out. They should though, because I honestly think when you have many uh, RPGs or adventure games with this kind of swagger, it helps identify with a generation of gaming. So we'll see what happens.
Okay. All right. Jube, what are your thoughts on these partnerships? I think I like to refer to them as money hats. Uh, that PlayStation is or Sony is doing to kind of
Yeah.
leverage IPs across multiple. Um,
Um, it's the animation I'm worried about still. Like a lot of the animes on like Crunchyroll and stuff that I do watch, I notice are made by Kadokawa in some way, shape, or form. Like it's just gonna be nuts.
Hey, one of your favorites, Demon Slayer.
Yeah, I know. I don't need Sony to own the rights to Demon Slayer. I don't agree. Don't like it. Um,
So you don't see they have done Demon Slayer justice?
have you played the games?
Sony hasn't really touched Demon Slayer yet.
No,
No,
they
no,
haven't.
no, no. I'm talking about the anime.
I mean, sure, like visually it's great, but them splitting these seasons up like they're doing, it's just like there's not a lot of story left. And I know it's still gonna be a couple of years before we get the rest of it, and that's kind of sucks.
Yeah, I think we're getting them every 8.
Yep,
Yeah.
3 movies.
It sounds like 2 years.
Yeah, every 8 months. 2 years exactly.
Yeah.
How about they get that Spider-Man?
I think Miles almost canceled it. He has no res.
Oh, I remember that.
Oh, that sucks. He shouldn't, he shouldn't be hollering at girls if he's weird.
I haven't heard
You
about
can't
that.
have money and be weird. You gotta figure that shit out. You gotta fix trouble, bro.
We got to give him credit for trying. I mean, it was weird, but give him a chance, man.
Look,
My
Like he at
man's
least
just
made his
weird, bro.
mush.
look, we didn't care about what's the old Flash boy. We didn't care about his personal life. We got that movie.
Actually, I did. I have not watched that movie, and I refuse.
I'm talking about the execs. I'm not talking about.
Yeah, the execs don't care, but like, oh, you run away from your girlfriend in a car, and they label you like this crazy abuser, and then you lose your MCU deal, bro.
Oh, you talking about Jonathan Majors, but they're
Yeah,
apparently they're coming back to the table with him. So,
I fucking hope so.
but yeah, it looks like he take the Kang role back. Apparently.
Oh, really?
That's
Like
what
actually?
that's what it sounds like. Yeah, it sounds like they could get the hang back. Um,
I hope so. Man can act. We're not gonna pretend like the man's not fucking talented.
he's a talented actor. Interesting person, but people who are artistically great, they aren't
Are
always.
usually shitty. Yeah,
They're
but
weird
no,
people.
Yeah, I won't say
they're
they're
they're either
shitty,
weird or shitty.
but they're different. They're like that for a reason. There's something different about them that ticks and allows them to be um they are, for better or worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, but that's all you got regarding Sony and the partnerships they're
Yeah,
looking to
like
form.
I don't agree. We're gonna have to see them leveraged into games. Like they don't own a big enough stake to really have all the say. They do have some say at the table though, so I'll give them that.
Yeah,
Like if I can get a Demon Slayer game that's not like a cookie cutter arena fighter, great,
Facts. Like,
And
give us a
great.
action
real
Yeah.
game.
Good luck
okay,
with
so
that.
imagine an
Because
action
that is
adventure.
literally the fucking worst. They did it
Imagine
with
an
Like
action
JoJo. They did
adventure.
well.
They
JoJo's not really an
Jujutsu
Yeah, do it.
Kaisen.
Hero Academia. They do it with Naruto. They're just like, oh, let's just make them fight. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
just make a game. It will be the best game ever. I'm like, no.
Naruto should
Imagine-
put in. I'm sorry. Naruto Ninja Storms was the only good one out of all the animations.
Oh, yeah,
Everything
I
else
agree.
is
I'll
just
give it a pass
meh.
because its animation was like
The
killer.
first Ninja Storm. I don't really maybe the first
Imagine-
two. The first two I'll definitely give them because after that it's just more the same shit.
yeah.
Because they even made
Imagine-
they even made the jutsu shorter in every other game outside the first one. They're long as fuck in the first one, but they're meant to be. I never understood that.
So
Imagine Ninja Demon Slayer, but in either action adventure role or assault game role. Like it makes sense.
It does.
Demons are supposed to be difficult to kill.
Yeah, I think in general, I think the game industry underestimates how willing we are to go back and play the story we already got. Because like I don't know how many times I watched freaking Dragon Ball Z after the
Yeah,
episodes
DVD.
kept restarting every time they got to freaking Planet Namek and Goku landed on Planet Namek. Episode just kept restarting. Guess what? Dragon Ball Z Kakarot came out. I was first one there, and I think I just played that game straight through. I like stopped playing all other games, and I relived that story through playing. Like I'm pretty
Yep.
sure people would do the same thing with Demon Slayer, a Bleach, a Naruto, a One Piece. Like
Yeah,
we,
give us that format.
yeah,
Give us that format.
we will relive these stories through playing through the actual story with no problem.
Yeah. I'm just tired of the arena fighter stick.
Yeah.
That's just old at this point. I've done it. If you played one, you've literally played them all. They're reskins.
Yeah,
I don't disagree. I would
I
love
agree.
I would love to replay through a story. And the thing is, when you replay through the story, you can always add more layers because you can't fit everything you want to fit inside
Like
of a TV episode. And that you can fit
I
in a
like how
game.
they did like the like the story for fighters, like how it's just different from everything else.
Yeah.
Like more of that, please. Like give us original stories. Like that's what this medium's for. Like we don't have to keep playing the same shits.
Oh, for sure. I think
Mhm.
there's room for all of it. Like you can give
Yeah.
us a story.
You can
based-
take liberties. This is where your what ifs can fucking come into play. Like let's get it.
Now you want to talk about
That's what Spark and Zero did.
want to talk about a game that would make sense to be animated that would make sense to turn to a game. Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
That would
They've
make
had
sense.
games. They've
Yeah,
had
I
games.
remember the PlayStation 2 games. I actually
Yeah.
would love those
They weren't-
games for some reason.
They weren't
the best, but
best.
I just loved them.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But like, if you made a real Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood video game that like took the story from beginning to end, that would be a good game.
It would be, and I think we deserve that.
Get the transmutation circle thing, where it makes sense. Do what you want as Edward Elric.
Yep.
Good, and then get some parts where you get to play as Roy and forgot the big guy's name, Armstrong. You get your parts like that. Yeah, people love that game. It would absolutely love that game. I think I got Jubei, got Kofi. Omar, what are your thoughts on Sony kind of leaning more on partnerships so that they can, you know, have diversified media uh,
They're not
beyond just gaming?
they don't have a lot of money like Xbox, so it makes I mean Microsoft, so it makes sense for them to do it like that. And when it comes to Sony, they need to make sure that they're partnering with the right people before committing to more partnership. And when it comes to Kadokawa, they already made Demon Soul and Bloodborne,
Yeah.
so I'm not surprised with that move.
Okay.
I'm
Right.
curious if we're gonna finally get a Demon Soul. I mean Bloodborne 2, because we
Now,
need Bloodborne 2.
I don't think so because I don't think they didn't purchase enough of Kodakawa to tell them, hey, make Blood. Like they're still gonna make what they want to make. They're just able to kind of leverage those properties to make more money. So that's the only reason I say I don't think so. Because if they wanted to
Mm,
make Bloodborne 2, it would have happened by now.
Yeah, and I mean,
right.
I don't know if there's any gravity to this. My understanding is that I know you guys know his name, the creator of Bloodborne. My understanding is that Sony obviously wants this game remastered, maybe a sequel, spin-off, whatever, but they respect the creator, and he's just busy. He's
Yeah,
just
I
doing his thing.
mean,
He's just
he's
cooking.
literally
So
creating a new Elden Ring,
yeah,
the
and I
live
honestly think
service.
he wants to make it. I think he's like, yeah, I want to make it, but we cooking out here. I just sold 25 million copies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People buying this DLC like it's hotcakes. So I'm gonna go ahead and keep
Right.
making this money. So I don't
Yeah.
blame him.
Yeah, I don't blame him either. So you make a game that sells 25 million copies. You make a product that sells 25 million copies for a company. Get a lot more leeway at that company. Get a lot more say so.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
like
You
But
go, I'm gonna
but
make
see,
something
here's
else.
the
They go,
thing:
sure,
if
go
they
ahead.
if they
What do you
make
want to do?
if they make it exclusive, it ain't gonna sell 25 million.
I
That's what
don't,
I'm telling you. Like, it's not gonna happen.
I don't think Sony is getting into a deal with Kodakawa to make. I don't. I think they're trying to leverage the games across multiple forms. That's what I think they're. So like if
Just make
they
it easy, make it really cheap to get the rights and other mediums
yeah, the
for it.
distribution
Yeah,
rights. Yeah,
I
so
could see that. Yeah,
like Elden Ring, uh, the Elden Ring anime, fuck it. So and then
I'd watch it. I'd
and
watch it.
and then when they do the Elden Ring anime, they probably won't even make the anime themselves. They're probably like, you know, get like a Netflix deal. Kodakawa will make the anime. They'll publish it, because and the money they contribute by publishing it, they'll get a revenue. Kodakawa get a revenue. Everybody's a little bit happy. They all saved money on the development process, but they all made money on the back end. They all took less risk. They all got a deal. I think, I think they'll all be happy at it. It's getting expensive. It's getting expensive out here for these companies to make products that we as customers are demanding.
Yep.
Like because we see one episode of Demon Slayer, or we see an episode of Bleach, and it just looks absolutely amazing, and we think everyone else has to make something that looks like that. They don't necessarily have the budget to make every anime look like that, but they don't have the budget to make every game look like that. But they allocate that budget to a game that they can't really afford to make in hopes that it'll sell, like Elden Ring. It's just not gonna happen. So it's like, these deals will probably save some of these companies from going under long term. Uh, Happy. Do you have any thoughts regarding Sony and these partnerships that they're making to kind of have like transmedia?
Yeah. I mean, hey, they gotta do what they gotta do to make money. I mean, they don't got that Microsoft money, so they gotta make partnerships. I'm just curious to see if one of their titles can they pull like Cyberpunk, where a show can bring a large audience and even a newer audience into one of their own IPs. I would love to see it.
All right, so I mean, I understand it's not Microsoft, but I think their approach, Microsoft's approach of owning all these IP has its advantage, but Sony
Mm-hmm.
being able to lock in these partnerships has just as valuable advantages because you're able, if you have an eye for what people want, you're able to go around and find the best product and then kind of bid on them, to kind of publish them, things like that. So like, you know, like Xbox may
Mm-hmm.
have all these IP, and in a particular year, they might not be making the best game, or you know, there could be a down year where none of their studios are making a great game. They just all might be making good games, or they might be making okay to good games, or bad to good games. Whereas like Sony, if they're doing these deals every year, there's going to be someone making. They just have to find it. So,
Mm.
um,
We'll have to see. I
so I
mean,
do think
Why aren't they leaning on their in-house studios to make these games?
I
They have studios. It's
I
not like
think
they have as many as Xbox? No. Do they have more than 10? Absolutely. They
I,
can do it.
I don't think people want to hear this, but me personally, I think they're kind of away from their party a little bit. I don't think I
That
don't think
doesn't make any
I
sense.
don't think they're gonna do as much first party out. I mean, they already closed a couple studios last year, and I could see them closing maybe a couple more smaller ones, just focusing on like the big ones, and then those couple games here and there, like because they only right now they said they're good releasing one or two games a year. So if they're good releasing only one or two games a year, they don't currently have.
Then why do they have so many studios?
They were because Jim Ryan tried to keep up with Xbox when Xbox bought ZeniMax. Then when they bought Bethesda,
Eh.
he tried to keep up again and buy Destiny, and he overextended Sony. Like that's like I have no other. Overextended their budget. Really, like that's my perception of it. Is that him trying to keep up with Xbox's purchase, making smaller purchases, still making purchases. I think it was misguided. I thought after Insomniac they should have killed a bit. I don't think that Returnal studio was a bad buy per se, but I do think that
Yeah, no.
I think they have to get that studio make a game that more people are going to buy. Returnal's
Can
not a
they can they
bad.
can they make a
I
game
mean,
that's not
speaking
fucking
of
broken? Yes, it is.
Returnal,
Returnal.
Returnal's terrible.
speaking of
I will
Returnal,
go.
even on PC, it didn't sell well.
Yeah, so I'm saying
It's
It's not
terrible.
a
the
unique
game in
game.
general didn't sell well. So but I do think they made, for the type of studio that they are, I think they made a pretty good game.
They made an
No,
amazing
they
game.
didn't. They did not. The game is trash.
I know you have
Mhm.
your,
You're about to have,
I know you got your
you're
issues with
about to
it
have,
No,
today, but
no. The game is trash. The game is. I was 17 hours into that game, and I ran into a bug that I had to erase my save and start all the way over. That game is fucking trash. I'm never
uh,
playing that shit again. I'm
uh,
not doing it.
Ooh.
yeah. See,
yeah, it
I
happened to him. It sucked.
I understand that you're scorned, but I do think that studio, let's just say I think they have potential. Sony has to kind of get that potential out of them in a way that they can create a game that will sell more. Because Returnal, I don't think Returnal has sold a copy.
It did.
Oh, it did.
Yeah, on PC it didn't. It sold what 200K or something.
Okay, but
But on
It
PlayStation
was
it
at like
broke.
It was at like 350K on the PlayStation when we
No,
were
no, no,
talking
no,
about
no, no.
sales numbers for that game.
Beyond, no, 800.
so
It
800
literally
plus
broke
200,
million.
so it broke a million.
No,
But
no, no, no. It broke on play. 800 was in around a month or something. Like where they are right now, they broke a million.
yeah, but still isn't great. Um, but
Not with that. Not with that. There's 60 million PlayStation 5s. Why
It's
is there only a million
yeah,
copies of this game?
it's not great, but the studio showed
Because
potential.
they're a like unique game, like not everyone gonna love it sadly, and I love Returnal. Like I truly
I'm
do.
I'm I'm pretty sure that Death Stranding sold more than that game, and that is also a unique game.
Yeah, but it has the Kojima
Yes,
name behind. It
you
has the Kojima name
yeah,
behind it.
it have a Kojima precisely.
Like I said, I think the studio has potential. I think PlayStation has to kind of help make them a little bit more profitable. Because I think they showed that they can make a quality game.
Yeah,
They've been making quality games from the get
like
go.
Yeah,
like
but
the story was fire. I was invested.
but when I
I
say
was
Yeah,
like,
the
okay,
story
well,
of
cool.
Returnal is
And
actually.
then that bug happened, and it's like I don't care anymore. Like
I feel like trust me, I feel how you feel. I understand how you feel, but you're being bitter because of a game breaking glitch. Which you're not the
that.
only person that happened to. I have heard others
I
that
mean,
experienced that. And you know what they did? They did the opposite of you. They started over again and finished the game and got the
I'm
platinum.
not doing that.
yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
I don't
I
like
understand.
yeah,
And to each
they
their
burned that
own.
bridge with me. That was your first impression with me, bruh?
yeah. I mean, yeah. But I'm about to say, like, like it's not on the customer to redeem something. Um,
It's not.
so I mean, I'm sorry that happened to Jubei, but I'm also able to look at the developer and be like, that developer has a lot of potential. And I would like to see their next title. I think they can do some things. Um, but let's throw this on over to let's. Did we talk to you, Nappy, about leverage match?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think Zero is the last one. So Zero, what are your thoughts on this? Looks like a new strategy for Sony, kind of leveraging outside IP as opposed to focusing on inside IP.
Um, I guess mixed on it. On a general basis, I think it's fine, right? Like Kodokai was cool, Bloodborne and the Crew were very good games. So definitely would like to see more of whatever that team gets to cook up.
Mhm.
From the anime perspective, I'm just not interested. Nobody really wants to make fairly decent anime games that aren't fighters. So
Yep.
I just don't
Or
care.
Arena Fighter specifically. I would take
Yeah.
if you made fighters in other universes, like DB fighters in other universes in that style, I'd eat that shit up immediately. I just don't want another arena bullshit.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, DB Fighters, that's Arc System Works, one of the greatest to do it. So
Mhm.
I just don't expect them. I mean, and I'm talking about since we've been children, since since I've been a kid, like it's just
Yeah.
been fighters for anime
Yep.
games. So I'm not terrible. I'm just not interested anymore. Like you guys had your chance. I'm done. Like you could have given us something very interesting throughout the years, and every once in a while something will pop up. But for the most part, I don't care. But Sony as a whole, yeah, get some more third party support, man. Like the more games that you have, the better. Like to me, it's just a simple act of mathematics. The more ability you have for people to play your games, the better you will do. And we keep screaming from the mountaintops, right? We want new stories, we want interesting stories, we want different stories, and or games. Really,
Yeah.
not necessarily stories, but we want new games. Um, so if you're used to sort of Sony's first person, or third person sort of cinematic things, but maybe you want a bit smaller title like a Returnal that doesn't crash on you, then you got a Returnal there. Or people were clamoring for Bloodborne, but Kofi was right. Like the guy's just like, I got other things to do.
Yeah.
And I can't hate on that. Like go for it. Make what you got to make. But I'm sure we might revisit the Bloodborne world again at some point. I don't think we're done with It's Yarnum, right? I think it's Yarnum. Yeah, like we're not done with Yarnum. So more power to him. You know, historically, third party is what put Sony on the map, right? Like
Yeah. I mean, they started
it
out.
got them to where they were.
Yeah, they didn't start out making games. So
Yeah, so like go for it. perhaps, as I've said before with Xbox, Nintendo, and or Sony, like I'm supportive of these strategies, just because like at least you're trying,
Yeah.
and let's see how it works out. If it fails, then do something else. If it works, then continue down this path. So go for it. It's cool to see, and I'll be looking forward to see what comes out of it.
Right. So we got everyone's opinion. With that said, we are going to roll into our outros. It is getting kind of late. Some people, like Nappy, said he has an hour work, and I am going to respect that. Get us out of here in a timely fashion. So with that said, I'm gonna let us kick off our outros, and Omar was here first, so Omar, go ahead, kick off your outro. Mind you, what you got going on.
Shout out to everyone that came through. Hit that like button. Share the stream out. You can find me Carbon Culture on Twitter and other player podcast every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. See you next week.
All right. Let's see. Kofi, where can we find you and what you got going on? Oh, going once, going twice, Kofi's out. Jubei, where can we find you and what you got going on? Thanks, Jubei.
Yeah, you can find me at Jubei X Sensei on gaming platforms, Jubei Sensei everywhere else. I have been playing Dragon Ball Online during this show, so that's been fun. Fan made Korean remake of a Korean game that was out long, but it works.
And Zero, who find you got going on?
Man, I will probably be mostly in the realm of ancient China, just playing Dynasty Warriors, having a good time, and maybe a little bit of Marvel Rivals. Apparently, Human Torch and the Thing is supposed to drop on February 21st.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, they're supposed to be out.
yeah,
Nice.
that'll be interesting. Checking them out. And that's
Did you like
about it.
Mr. Fantastic?
Actually, no. I hate Mr. Fantastic. If there's a woman I can run with, I can't.
Okay.
I can't. And I would think I would be a little better with him because I'm a group player, but I can't get his stuff together, man. Like it don't make sense to me. Like I hate
Can't get jiggy with Reed Richards, huh?
it. No.
Damn.
You don't like
But
stretching.
I do want to buy that Maker costume because like the Maker's fucking sick. So I still might buy that. Yeah, that's about it, man. Like, always a good time to be here. See y'all next week.
All right, and last but not least, Happy, where can we find you? What you got going on?
You can find me on all platforms. Just type in Nappy Sensei in the search bar. will pop up. My review for Fortnite controller got delayed due to my computer taking a shit and me having to reinstall Windows. Even though it is Valentine's week, I may be able to sneak in a little bit of Monster Hunter. I got to practice up because the longsword is the last weapon I want to use that I normally use in Monster Hunter that I want to get the hang of. And yeah, more Monster Hunter, and also I'll probably jump back into Final Fantasy Rebirth. I got the game, so I might as well finish it. I should take the mods off with Sephiroth though, and Zack. Seems to be a little bit cheating. Let me get the authentic experience.
It is Valentine's Day.
Just play the game. Play the game your way, bro. That's all that matters. Who cares?
Yeah,
Single player.
Oh, you should see Spider-Man 2 on PC. It's bad. People already got Venom open world just going crazy.
Sounds like they need to remake Ultimate Spider-Man. There's a market for it.
Yeah.
You guys can find me tomorrow, 8 p.m. on Point for Gamers. I'll be rocking out with Poodle. Other than that, just want to thank you guys for coming through, getting your week dose of that vitamin D. We are out. Peace.
Peace.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin J, what you need? Vitamin J, got what you
All
need.
alone.